and what a beautiful day it is. Welcome, 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 and welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheem, but this is my sister from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Amari. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I wish my hair didn't look so frizzy, but I'm good.
Man, ain't no wrong with your hair. Ain't no wrong
It's
with your hair.
frizzy today. I
It,
slept
it,
on it wrong or something.
it's beatboxing. It's beatboxing. That's all I'm doing. Beatboxing.
It's just because I'm so electric,
That, that's
right?
that's what it's right there. That right there. That's the one right there. That's the one I'm looking for. It escaped me, but you came right in and you helped me out. Listen, I want to ask you a question,
What's up?
and certainly not us personally, because you know the relationship I have with my kids, my grandkids, and I certainly know the relationship that you and Ryan have with you all's kids. So it's not personal. This is as a whole. Are we robbing our kids? Are we robbing our kids of certain situations that we experienced and learning things that we learned? Because I see a lot of kids, and I get on my daughter sometimes. You know, she gonna be mad at me for saying this, but that tablet is not a babysitter. That can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just had to turn my volume up for a second because my daughter's using the ice machine.
Okay, okay. But that tablet, iPad, whatever you want to call it, is not a babysitter. And a lot of times it becomes a pacifier. And them kids get on those pacifiers and they don't have the learning experiences that we have. We're not teaching them the different things culturally, historically, biblically, spiritually, whatever, however you want to say it. We're not teaching them certain things that they really need in growing up. So my question is, are we robbing our children?
Yeah, I rob
Why?
them of their candy every year. No, I don't. My daughter's like, you do? Like, oh my god. No, honestly though, I think so. I think that they're missing out on a lot of things that
Mhm,
we had the opportunity to experience
mhm.
or do, or those learning moments, teaching
Yes.
moments.
Mhm,
Yeah, I think that we definitely do.
mhm,
I mean, right, I we sit down, we have conversations with our kids
mhm.
constantly about things.
Yeah.
They ask questions, we give answers to the best of our ability. If
Mhm.
we don't know, I say, okay, well, let's look it up together, right? We do that. But
Yeah.
aside from knowledge in that sense, I
Mhm,
mean, we're not we don't have a lot of opportunity to get out and about.
mhm,
Because of Ryan's work schedule, I don't drive. My
mhm,
body has failed me. I can't do a lot of things because of my knee. There's
mhm.
just certain things that we aren't able to do given our circumstances. And so there's a lot of experience that our kids personally have missed out on or have not had the opportunity to be a part of, just because of the way that our personal lives are.
Mhm,
And I feel like just because of the way that the world is situated today,
mhm,
and because of I it's just so different. Like, I can remember my dad, it was like clockwork. My dad went to work at a certain time and came home at the same time every
mhm.
single day.
Yeah,
Every single
yeah,
day. There was
yeah.
no overtime, there was no running late, there was no working on the weekends, there was none of that every single day. And
Mhm,
so he would get off of work, and sometimes, most of the time it was weekends, but sometimes in the middle of that week, let's go do X, Y, and Z. Let's go to the park. Let's go here. Let's go for a bike ride in the evening after dinner, right? When I was living with my dad. I didn't always live with my dad, but those
yeah.
times when I did, those are
Mhm,
the experiences that I had.
mhm,
We don't do that. Most parents don't have the opportunity to do that and give that to their kids anymore, I feel like,
mhm.
because we're just running that rat race. different way. We're
Is
just so consumed.
mhm. Is it because of necessity? And I'll put you on full screen. Is it because of necessity, or is it just that we don't make the time?
I think it's both. I think it's both because now you have even Ryan, now he has those weekends where he's working. And you've
Mhm,
got those two, in homes where you do have two parents, majority of the time both parents are working. So
mhm.
it's out of necessity a lot of the time, but like other times it's just laziness, I guess.
Mhm.
If you
Mhm.
want to call it that. I hate using that word for that because I know people love their kids.
Mhm.
Um I just it's sad that we've gotten to that point in the world where we don't find ways to make the time, I guess you could say.
I've
Because
heard
there's always time. You can
yeah,
always make time.
exactly. And I heard an old lady say this one time before, and when I first heard it, it was the first time hearing it, I was a younger person, it blew my mind. But she said, "Young man," I said, "Yes, ma'am." Always been pretty mannerable. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "You make time for the things you love." She said, "You make time for the things you love. And if you're not making time, you might need to check whether you how much you love it." Because I was like, wow. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because I don't know how much of the story I want to tell, but it was a young lady in the neighborhood when we was growing up. This was in Burlington, North Carolina, before I moved to Greensboro. And I used to go by, and take her different things and pretty much go to the store for her because she couldn't, she could, but she I guess didn't want to or whatever. And so I was 6, 7 years old. I'd run to the store, get what she need, bring it back. I'm playing with my friends, and sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget to go by there. And my mom would ask me, my grandma when I see my mom, I mean my grandmother, that's who pretty much raised me. She did you go by blank blank house? I said, no, mama, I didn't go by there today. She said, you and she, kind of get on me a little bit. And when I went by and saw her the next day, that's when she told me. She said, son, you make time for the things you love. And in a nutshell, she was saying to me that I didn't love her because I didn't make time to come by and take care of her. You know, that's a heavy load to put on a 6, 7 years old, but it taught me something. It taught me something. And I always made time. I almost called her name. Miss Blah, blah, do you need me to go to the store? Do you need me to blah 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 blah? And I always made time to go by there. When I'm doing something, I get a couple of my little friends. I said, let's go over here for a minute. What you going on that old woman house for? But my thing was, we make time for the things that we love. And I'm certainly not going to say that we don't, and it's certainly not us personally, but I'm not going to say that a parent don't love their children. It's just that they think that other things that they're doing are so necessary that to a certain degree, I have to say it in that way, to a certain degree, it takes precedence over what it is that they're doing or should be doing with the kids. Samara, what do you say to that?
No, and I think that's exactly right. That is exactly what we do. It seems like we put ourselves before our children now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm definitely not. I absolutely do that. I catch myself doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And like on the weekends, that's when I try to weekends in summer, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but that's when I try to, especially during the school season, on the weekends, let's watch a movie, let's do this or let's do that, and that's where I try to make time with them to do something. Now that's not every weekend. It's not, because there are just some weekends where I am just completely wiped out and I just
Yeah.
don't have the energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
can lay in bed and watch a movie with them, but on those weekends where I'm wiped out because they get mad at me if I fall asleep during the movie. So then
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, yeah, no, no, no. But like, we're gonna start watching the Harry Potter movies
Mm-hmm.
this weekend because I had started watching it the other day, and one of my daughter was just like, oh, I want to watch that too. So I turned it off. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, then I'll wait for you. And we'll
Mhm.
watch it together this week and we'll start watching those together.
Yeah.
So that is my time. That is how I make time with my kids, is by doing
Mhm.
things like that. Or, even randomly sometimes if I'm in the kitchen and one of them are like, can I help you cook? Yeah, come on, let's
Mhm.
go. Teaching
Mhm.
them how to do those things. Sometimes it's like it's a very simple meal and there's really nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
But other times there might be vegetables to cut up or there might be this. But it's in those moments where you're doing stuff like that with your kids where conversation is created,
Mhm.
where they might ask a question or something might come up, and that is how you connect with your children. It's in those simple things.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
always going out and
Mhm.
spending money to go to the museum or go to the
Mhm.
park, or it's not about that. That's where a
Mhm.
lot of people, a lot of parents get that mixed up and confused, as they think in order to spend time with your children you have to spend money, and that's
Yeah.
not what it is. It's
Exactly.
not
Exactly.
anything like that. And so, just sit down and do a puzzle with them.
Mhm.
That's all they
And
want. They
see
just want your time.
and that's the thing right there. Sometimes the things that mean so much, that mean the most to them, don't cost you a dime. Don't
No,
cost you
it's
a
the
dime.
simplest things.
Yeah.
They just want to know that you care enough to listen,
Mhm.
that you care enough to get on the floor with them and get interested in whatever it is that they're interested in.
Mhm.
Give them your attention. We always want our children to give us their attention,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we very rarely ever want to give them ours.
One of the things that I used to do every day, when my kids came home from school, my two youngest daughters came home from school, I would all ask, "How was your day?" And I want them to go in detail. How was your day? But we never told them how our day was. Hey, Princess.
She literally just crawled out of bed, so
Okay.
she's a little loopy at the moment.
There
But
you
yeah,
go.
no, we yeah, I mean, and I do the same thing, like, hey baby,
Mhm.
how was your day? Did you have a good day? Yada yada yada. My kids don't go into detail. They're just like, it's fine. It was
Yeah,
good. I'm like,
it's okay.
yeah, anything happen? Come on, like,
Mhm.
come on, tell me something. And then, 2 weeks go by. They're like, hey, you remember the other day? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why didn't you tell
Mhm.
me that when I asked you how your day was?
Yeah, exactly. But and see, and that's the thing. We want what we're not giving out because, and we got Rico on the line. Definitely want to go to Rico as well. But we ask them how was your day, and we expect for them to go into detail, tell us everything that happened. Like they gonna just write it down and blah blah blah. But Mama, how was your day? It was okay, and we want to leave it right there. That's enough. It was okay. What's the
Yeah,
difference?
and we do that. And my kids once in a while, Rain especially, my oldest now living at home,
Yes.
she'll do that, once in a while.
Mhm.
Mommy, how was your day? After I ask her
Yeah,
how her was or whatever. And it's like,
exactly.
yeah, same thing. Yeah, it was good.
And that's
Nothing
all you get.
happening, but I think we do that because a lot of the time the things that are going on in our life can be so chaotic,
Mhm.
or it might be dealing with more of those adult situations
Yeah.
concerning bills, or
Mhm.
tires on the car or whatever, and
Mhm.
is we don't want, that's not a
See
concern we need to put on their shoulders.
see, you getting ahead of me now. You're getting ahead of them. I'm gonna ask about later on in the broadcast. I'm gonna ask about are we preparing them in regards to how to pay bills, what bills mean, and sit them down and take them through a part, and certainly not everything, but take them through a part of, okay, this bill costs this much, this bill costs this much, this and this. Okay, and are we teaching them in that way as well? Let me go to Rico. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain, man. Just happy to see another new day, man.
Yes, sir. Good to have you, man. Good to have you. We're talking about our kids, as a whole, certainly not us individually, but as a whole. Are we robbing our kids? Are we really taking the time to do the things that we need to do? Are we being putting them in positions where they can actually learn teachable moments? We have teachable moments. Do we have the time? Because I told the story about the I say young lady, but she was an older lady that lived in my neighborhood when I was younger. How she I used to go to the store and go for her, run the store for her and stuff like that, and get the things that she need. And she told me one day when I didn't go the day before, my grandmother got on me a little bit, but I went by the next day, and she said to me, she says, "Well, son, you make time for the things you love." Not saying that, certainly not saying that people don't love their kids, because I'm very sure that they do. But do we give them all the time that they really require? So Rico, are we robbing our kids?
Yeah, I think it's pretty been understood a long time ago. I mean, I came up in the era when they came up with that term latchkey kids,
Yes, sir.
latchkey children.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with parents going through the age of industrialism that created a second and third shift and inflation, they created an environment where you had to pay more to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had to pay more to just entertain yourself or just to do what makes you feel good, what interests you.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
So you would have to work a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So that left the children a lot more vulnerable. Some children had grandparents. You know what I'm saying? I had a grandmother that raised me.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily,
Yeah,
he wasn't one of today's grandparents.
absolutely.
Because today's grandparents, some of them still do a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
But the best they can do as far as giving quality time is buying a whole lot of manufactured goods to make up for the quality time they can't spend with them. So you see
Mm-hmm.
all these little young children with all these four-wheelers and all these gadgets and all these things that really and truly, it might be a little too soon for them to be introduced to, but they have no choice because they got a substitute for the lack of quality time and intimate interaction
Mm-hmm.
between those people that should be teaching them, you know what I'm saying, and the people on social media and in society that's teaching them.
Rico, do you
Because
think
most of these
do you
children
think
are learning from society.
hey Rico, do you think sometimes and I just say sometimes all those gifts are just to get them out of the way, the tablets, the forerunners, and all that stuff. All those certain gifts that they're about is just to get those kids out of the way, keep them quote unquote busy, so they don't have
Yeah,
to.
occupied.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
it's a substitute. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? If I can't occupy your time with the things that I need to be doing for you because I got to do something else, then let me put a game in your face. Let me put
Mm-hmm.
a tablet in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said yesterday about my little cousin that I saw. He might be a year and a half. He couldn't even really talk to me good, but he knew how to make the videos play on that tablet, and that
Yep.
tablet was probably worth more than my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Easily could have dropped it and broken it. Didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
case, didn't have a cover on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we could say we're teaching them, but at the same time, we're not teaching them that this $1,200 tablet you playing with is valuable financially.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, that child may find it easy to go pick up that tablet whenever they get ready and then decide to throw it in the trash can because they're treating it like a toy.
Yep.
They're not treating it like a $1,200 adult piece of technology that can be used for so much more than just games and videos for children.
Mm-hmm.
So, we see more adults with children mind that are more consumed with pleasing themselves and doing what makes them feel good and then passing down to the children. This is what you need. This is what you like. This is what you should want.
Mm-hmm.
Material thing, material thing, material thing, manufactured goods. That we ain't gonna teach you how to till a garden.
Yeah.
We're not gonna teach you how to go out here and teach, throw a ball in the air and catch it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How to throw a frisbee, how to fly a kite, how to
Mm-hmm.
shoot marbles. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, just how to have problem solving skills, how to play go fish and Chinese checkers,
Mm-hmm.
things that make you think.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are games that adults played with us when we were younger. Even though they were fun, they were brain exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. Chess.
Now children know that the only thing children have to exercise their brains is whatever they put into that search bar, which may
Mm-hmm.
be somebody twerking on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And see, and that's where the problem lies, because like me and Zamara was saying earlier, a lot of times that tablet, iPad, whatever you want to call it, it becomes a babysitter. It becomes a babysitter for them children. And before you know it, hours has gone by and they still on that tablet, doing what they do on that tablet. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Tucson can't find the mute button. Every morning, Tucson can't find the mute button, y'all. Y'all know he can't find it, right?
And
I knew you would do that.
I want to
I
become a
knew.
babysitter and a teacher.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. But to realistically, that's not good. That's not good because what are they being taught? That's not good at all because you're not monitoring. A lot of times they're not monitoring what that child is being taught or what's going into their eye, ear, and gates of their spirit. It could be a terrible thing. It could be a terrible thing. But Tucson, I see you found your mute button, brother. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Joe did. I'm all right, man.
Hey, good deal. Let me ask you: are we robbing our children? Are we robbing our children of things that they really should know, learn, be a part of, experience as children growing up? Are we robbing them?
Well, yeah, in a sense, yeah, they suffer from neglect, because we're too busy. And I'd say we, thank God I ain't got no children at the house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I almost got a flashback.
Wow.
But
I wonder about that flashback, but go ahead. Go ahead.
no, raising children is not an easy task.
No.
It's a job. It's a duty.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be accountable. You responsible.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just send them to their room every time something happens.
Yeah.
They're not gonna feed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You got to feed them. And if you don't, then there you go. You wonder why so many things go on in their lives, and before you know it, it didn't got out of hand,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go get them.
Yeah.
Joe do.
Got to go get them.
I mean, if you don't tend to them somewhat, somebody always is willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, Zamari, I'm gonna use you and Ryan for an example. Y'all, you don't mind, do you?
No, go ahead. I'll be right back though. I gotta go make sure my son is up.
See, that's what I'm talking exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you don't go make sure that he's up, he'll sleep there all day. Be good with it.
Won't have no problem with it too. Something won't have no problem with it.
Oh, and look, I wish I would have let him. I mean, sometimes I would miss the bus on purpose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Make sure I knew, you can hear the bus pass by the house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about nobody else.
Oh yeah.
But I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure that I wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
I dragged my feet,
Yeah.
especially when something was going to happen at school that I didn't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because school is different these days, man. School will make your child not want to be there.
Yeah.
Because there's always something breaking off.
Mm-hmm.
So you say we robbing them. I think that not everybody, but I was saying I was going to use Zamari and Ryan. I see them interact with their children every morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of thing that they need. That
Yeah.
they need that hug and that kiss on the cheek, and while you doing your thing, they be doing their thing, but they interact with you. They got to have that.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, if a child doesn't have that, sure, they're being robbed,
Mm-hmm.
held up every day, vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put something in them, they're like sponges, so they're gonna absorb something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It don't make no difference. And when you have a small tree seed,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you plant it, the soil, it'll absorb whatever's in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find that you put it in a place that there is infection, you wonder why it gets sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you don't put in time with your children, little bit of things that seem like it don't, they almost your size,
Mm-hmm.
and you sit them on not necessarily sit them on your lap, but you give them that hug. You got to reach up to them and put their necklace on, like Zamari doing right now.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perfect example of what we talking about.
It fits right. Fits right into the narrative.
I'm not trying to win no brownie points with Ryan and Zamari, but I'm just saying that here's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get your child ready for school and life, they will be unprepared.
Mm-hmm. And watch this. Ryan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing good. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Ryan, I'm gonna ask you a question. Excuse me. If
No.
if if I had a brand new sponge, never been used, and I have a glass full of liquid patience. Patience is a liquid now. Okay? Patience. If I take that sponge and I dip it in that glass and I take it out and I squeeze that sponge, what is gonna come out?
Mold, mildew,
See
uh,
where you
dish
going?
soap.
See where you going? I said a brand new sponge. Now you don't put gold in the middle of a brand new sponge. Lord
God.
Jesus.
The patient's supposed to come out of there.
Exactly. And so I use that example. I use that example that our children are like sponges. And what we put in them in pressure situations in their life, when they're squeezed, that's what's gonna come out of them. So are we filling up these sponges properly?
No.
I love that.
That's
He went real country over that time. No, I love that.
I mean, that's evident when you watch the TV, see what's going on in these cities right now. That's not what's supposed to be coming out of these kids.
Yeah.
When I was their age, I was running around looking for the closest basketball court or seeing what kind of pickup game I could get into for some football. Something fun, you know, go to roller skate rink, something. But that's not what's coming out of these kids right now.
No.
And, you know, parents aren't helping because they ain't doing nothing. And the powers that be ain't helping neither. I wish Rico was here.
Oh, he's here.
He's here?
Yeah.
We were talking about this last night on the phone. The UN is passing a bill basically legalizing pedophilia.
Wow. Wait a minute.
They basically in no uncertain terms said that the consensus of consent would be the age of 18. They aim to change that. The problem that scares me is they didn't put a bottom on the age limit. So you see everything else going on with the pushing the ABCs on people. And this is the next step. They've been trying to do this for a while. So what else are we feeding into our children? What else are we putting into these sponges? They soaking up identity changes, sexual changes, alternative lifestyle changes, and they're considering pedophilia an alternative lifestyle, and it's garbage.
Yeah. Ron, how do you feel when you sitting at home and the times when you do look at TV and a commercial come on, and on that commercial you see two women or two men kissing?
I try to change the channel.
Yeah.
I try to, my wife, if we're watching some on Hulu that got ads on it, she'll fast forward. Or whatever she can do to get it off the screen. Yeah. Or even in movies and shows, if they start doing stuff, she'll, all right, that's enough of this. Skip over a couple scenes.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's subliminal messaging, number one. And number two, it's like I say every time we talk about stuff like this, their minds are supercomputers. So they're soaking all this in, but they can't rationalize it in the end because they haven't gotten to that age of extreme reasoning yet.
See, and my wife, man, if we're looking at TV or something like that, and a commercial come on, because there's a few commercials out there now where that's what's happening, where you see two men hugging up and kissing and all kinds of stuff. She'll look at me and she said, "Oh, you ain't gonna like this commercial. You ain't gonna like this commercial," because she know, man.
So
yeah, go ahead.
What about that? You seen the commercial with the pill that basically makes your HIV non-transmittable?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see what's all over that commercial is
Exactly.
homosexual.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And so, but then they want to say we don't have nothing to do with AIDS. Then
Hmm.
why is every commercial tailored towards AIDS representing homosexuals?
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. And I know the exact commercial you're talking about, man. I know exactly what you're talking about because it's all over that commercial. You know, you can't. That's what the commercial is. It's based on that. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
And it ain't just gay people, but it's people of color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I noticed on all of them is people of color, man. Sometimes I think it's a commercial for some straight people, and I see what they're talking about. Like, oh, here we go again. It ain't just one commercial;
Mm-hmm.
it's all of them, and they come on during Super Bowls,
Yep.
cartoons,
Yep.
wrestling, you name
Mm-hmm.
it, man. I mean, whatever, whoever watching to get an opportunity to understand that you could take this pill now and be undetectable and still just go out here and do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Hypersexuality.
Yep.
You know, this started way back though. I can remember when certain movies got X ratings that they didn't have to get, but for some reason they had to have this scene in there, and it was controversial.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Angel Heart with Lisa Bonet and Mickey
Yeah.
Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
They hypersexualized that movie, and it didn't even have to be like that, but they made it that way. They had to make sure certain scenes were in that movie, and then outside of it, you had media, entertainment tonight, and all these people that lifestyle of the rich and famous that made you glorify this Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah mindset, the cow
Mm-hmm.
and the behavior. And so behind the scenes, you will find out that Mickey Rourke has in his contract that he actually has to be completely nude during the set scene.
Wow.
Why was that even necessary for us to know?
Mm-hmm.
So not only did they put this scene in this movie for no reason, it was unnecessary, but they did it because of the controversy and the attention that it would get. And so
Mm-hmm.
now, you know, we see children that want attention and they do whatever it takes to get attention, and they see what's rewarded, what gets attention. I mean, that I got introduced to sex by media and by environment. I didn't get taught sex properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up being hypersex at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Till right now, I'm still dealing with the fact that I have to acknowledge that I don't know how to treat a woman correctly
Mm-hmm.
because in the back of my mind, I subconsciously still objectify women.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And so I'm learning. I'm trying to fix and break that because of this brain computer. This young sponge was exposed to it at a young age and looked at it the wrong way. Then learn it the proper way for what it was used for. And I abused it, took advantage of it, even when I had good intentions. Once I
Mm-hmm.
got that became the priority. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's trickled down into this situation now that where children are being exposed to it, in various subversive ways in cartoons. Think
Mm-hmm.
about it; they don't show you the Walt Disney cartoons
Yeah.
with the little penises and breasts and
Mm-hmm.
words, dicks, in
Yeah.
the clouds and then smoke and stuff. And I'm like, man, why? And then if
Mm-hmm.
you had gay people that's admitting it as as time went on, they went back and edited it and reanimated it and add more little perversive things
Mm-hmm.
for children to look at. And sometimes adults ain't looking at cartoons. They just putting Nemo in the movie in the video form or in the CD player, pulling it up the stream.
Yep.
Aladdin, whatever it is that they're watching. All right, it's just a cartoon. It's just a video game.
Mm-hmm.
If it was so bad, why they make it a game? Exactly.
Yeah. Come on.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they make it a game?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they put it on a PS5 console or Xbox console?
Mm.
And so, I mean, and then on top of that, not only they're learning these bad behaviors, but then they starting to feel like these expensive things that you need to buy to stream or buy to have access to is expensive. You got to
Mm-hmm.
work to get these games. You got to work to keep buying these extra packs
Yeah.
to buy
Exactly.
more guns,
Mm-hmm.
more exotic guns for Call of Duty. Ooh, look at this gun. These children know more about guns than adults.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the real guns. That
Yep.
little brain sponge just soaking up that information.
Exactly.
And now here it is. They're acting it out because they want attention. See, now, if you can give children attention, but you got to give them some energy to exert,
Yeah.
or they'll get bored and they'll learn the routine.
Mm-hmm.
They'll learn that you asking how they're doing, but you really don't care. that you ain't listening, but it's just routine to you, and you're not sincerely asking or concerned about what they're doing. So they'll say whatever they need to say or whatever you need to hear to go on about. So you go about your business and continue your routine while they start another routine
Exactly.
right up under your nose.
And talking about this homosexual thing and how it's being pushed, how the agenda is being pushed, man. Anybody that know me, man, know, and I know it's not real, but I love looking at that professional wrestling. I like looking at it. It's like a cowboy movie or something like that to me. I like looking at it. It's what I like to do. When it come on, I look at it. But I noticed that in the last few years, because it's all staged. It's, they know who gonna win, or what the outcome gonna be, who they're going to push to quote unquote superstardom, and who's gonna be the fall guy, blah blah blah. All that's all predetermined. There's a guy that's on the wrestling right now. Him and his partner, both of them gay, living the alternative lifestyle. They got this thing called, and anybody look at wrestling, they gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. They got this thing where they say sizzle me, sizzle me, and they do the hands like this, and they like this, peace out, they put the hand together, talking about sizzle me. And they got all these people, all these children and everybody making signs and all kind of things talking about sizzle me. And these guys has been the champions for a long time. They've been the champions for a long time, walking around talking about, and got everybody. They come out, and when they first come out, the music playing and stuff like that, everybody in the audience, thousands of people are yelling, "Sizzle me, home, sizzle me, daddy," or something like that is what they say. Sizzle me, daddy. Now, Tucson, what message are they sending?
Lord have mercy. I called it, and I'm sorry. I called it suggestive behavior. Remember when we was coming up, they had these. It was a quick subliminal message, and you be watching TV, and all of a sudden you hungry for popcorn.
Yeah.
Or you think, man, I need to go. I need I feel like for some reason I'm driving. I'm craving a Coke. And it would be in the TV would come on, and you'd have a commercial coming on, and get a Twix bar.
Yeah.
Mounds enjoy that nuts. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. And then here you go. I gotta go to the store. Planters peanuts.
I almost said something, boy. I almost said something, Lord Jesus. I almost said something. Control me, God. Control me this morning. You almost said something, Tucson.
So here we go. Let's say 40 years later, watching TV. And now it's scissor me.
Yeah. You talk about sizzle me, daddy-o, or something like that is what they say.
Lord have mercy. I'm hoping I got this thing wrong.
I don't think you have it wrong. I don't think you have it wrong, because who they are and the portraying the image that they're putting out there or being allowed to put out there. And not only are they being allowed to put out there, man, is being poured into our children.
That's the thing. See that's the part that I don't, I'm not a hater, or I'm not I try not to discriminate or bash people, because I got issues. I got my own issues. I have some things that no, I ain't gonna say that.
This is my confession.
Oh no, but let me just throw this out here. Excuse me, Zamari. And anybody else that when they had the song, I forgot who wrote the song, but says a lady in the streets, but a freak in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Remember that song?
I remember that. Yes.
All right. But now you can be a freak all day long. Don't make no
matter where you at.
Let's get freaky with it in public. Let your bedroom activities and let the world know what you do in the privacy of your own home. and we commercialize it.
Yeah.
And we show it while our kids are watching Beavis and Butthead
Mm-hmm.
or the Family Guy
Mm-hmm.
or the Family Dad
Yeah.
or whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
or some good game that they like to watch, baseball, football, and all. They just excited about who's going to win, and all of a sudden a commercial comes on about AIDS.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And here you go, they're advertising a prescription that will assist people in their lifestyle. And all of a sudden, their bedroom activities is exploited in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Two people, grown-ups, adults, are sharing their affections before the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, and come on. And I don't want to see that. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I don't care who. I mean, oh man. I mean, that's just me.
No,
I mean,
I don't even want no jello out the sin without
Can I say something that really gonna discuss all of us?
Uh-oh.
It's gonna discuss all of us. And I'm a man. I'm a manly man.
Yeah.
I'm a manly
Mm-hmm.
man. Okay. It would be disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm sorry for if I offend anybody this morning,
Mm-hmm.
but I decide that I'm gonna go visit, and I think that I'm gonna travel to the radio show, and in the middle of the show, I'm gonna give Raheem a good wet.
No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. I'll go ahead and tell you, brother. No, you ain't.
That's exactly right.
No, you ain't.
Yeah, I know I am not.
Mm-mm. Ain't none of that going on, bro. Look there. I don't even know where that thought there came from, brother. No, you ain't.
No, what I'm saying is, Raheem, you know better than that. I know better than that.
No,
Let's clear that up. Let's clear that up. I thought about using Rico, but look, that's a big mess too. I can't use Ryan.
No, you ain't. Mm-mm. None of us, brother. You better kiss your hand.
No.
You better kiss your hand.
It's disorderly.
Yeah.
It's disorderly.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we, in the middle of a broadcast, promote something it don't even seem right?
Yeah.
It don't even make no sense. Yeah. How could we add that up to be something that we would even consider, when the first thing that I said was I was a manly man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't want to go there, right? But that's the only way I could have made my point.
I hope my, a lot of times they say your facial expressions tell everything. I hope I didn't have no.
Well, I saw your facial expressions. I saw your facial expressions. But the thing about it is, Raheem, you know what I'm saying is that in our teaching moments on this show,
mm-hmm.
we got to cover some ground.
Yeah.
Because to whatever cost, because when we look at the commercials that are put on, you see that
mm-hmm.
kind of activity.
Mm-hmm.
And some kid or some person that's developing sees that, and they say, well, I guess that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal. It's not normal.
No, it's not. It's not. Stanley, good morning, sir. Excuse me. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Stanley, you there? Okay, we're about to lost Stanley. We have the 470. Is that Tori you with a T? 470?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
As Darren, boss.
Tori with a T, I got a question for you. In all our activities, being as busy as we are sometimes, not being able to sit down and pour everything into these children like we should, are we robbing our kids?
Yep. Joel is leading them to slaughter.
Mm.
Yep. That's the first thing right there. You can't never be too busy for your children.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't. You need to be willing to be like, look here, boss, not today.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, you can play and keep, oh yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, I'm coming. But then when things start looking shaky, what I will pick up the phone in the middle of work for DeMarcus because I know something going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know something going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finna stop right there. Oh, excuse me, table. Sorry. Oh, be right back. Yo, what's up? You good? You all right? Yeah, I'm at work. You need to talk? Yeah, all right. Well, if you call me and I don't answer, you need to keep calling so that way I know something going on because I'm gonna drop everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be busy all you want to moving life, but when you start seeing telltale signs, you need to let them know that you will make the world stop.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
See, our generation, they couldn't stop for nothing. You get sick, they couldn't stop. Oh, you can't get sick, we can't miss no work. Can't break no legs because we can't go to the doctor. You couldn't do nothing with our generation. Nothing. But we never knew. What? We know you're going to work if you're sick or not, if I'm sick or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can't do that. That we don't make them feel that priority with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they grow up, right? Because I'm experiencing this with my parents now, and it's like, oh, Toya, you know, you put us in the hospital, you know, your mom in the hospital. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm praying for her. You're not gonna take off, honey. Y'all ain't never took off when I was. What you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your whole life, work. You don't miss no days. You almost died, had a heart attack, got back up and went back to work, and now you're looking at me like I'm doing something strange.
Come on.
Nope.
Come on.
It's culture. It's culture. I've watched you every day get up and not care about nothing but work. So now I'm doing it too. So now my head is down. Now everything is 3 times as higher as it was. That time that y'all didn't have to work and y'all didn't utilize it spending it with us, now we gotta work.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't breathe. Now I really can't get away. But this is the culture. This is the culture that you teach us that work is more important. The teacher's more important. The principal's more important. The cop is more important. Like, no, we have to really bring this back in and let our children know that I will move the world for you.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't let me know that I need to stop the world, fine, right? But if I know that something is coming for you and you need to get out of there, I will split seas for you.
Come on.
But we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is a priority in our culture. That's how we get away with our kids committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get away with them becoming at risk.
Yeah.
Because we're working 2 and 3 jobs. But you know what, though? You can have 2 or 3 jobs. You can compensate in between them jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You can make something shake, make something happen between them 2 jobs. Hey, baby, what's up? Let me tell you this, that, and third. Let me tell you why I'm working 2 jobs. Let me tell you what I'm doing this for and preventing. I think that sometimes we really blow responsibility out of proportion. But then at the same time, when it comes to our children, even though they should be our first priority and main responsibility, we always put them at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yep, exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, she said it, man. It's about making that priority.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to what you said earlier about, you know, what the old woman told you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to say you're gonna pay attention to what you love the most, but you're gonna pay attention to what interests you the most, what excites you the most, what makes you feel the best, pleasure. Once again, what makes you feel good? Well, you know what? I could go see such and such, Mr. Such and such, but man, all he gonna do is sit back and talk about what happened in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But now look at them boys down there, man. You know what I'm saying? They look like they having fun, man. Look at it. Ooh, I wonder what they doing down there, man. Ooh, yeah, Mr. Such and Such. I hear what you saying, but I'm looking down the road, man. They look like they having fun, man. Ooh, look at them girls walking by. Yeah, man. It sure was good to see you, Mr. Such. I just stopping by to see how you were doing. Pew.
Yeah.
It happens to the elderly, and it happens to the children the same way because these parents are too busy doing what they have been programmed to think is a priority to them and what makes them feel good. Some things are about needs and some things are about wants. Some things, the accomplishments they want
sometimes might be more about the being able to provide the more material things than being able to provide the opportunity to expose them to things that might cost a good bit of money. I mean, cause don't get me wrong, it's expensive now to get children involved in extracurricular activities, and then to be able to compete, because you have summer leagues and winter leagues and out of season leagues for everything. If you want your child to run track, you got private clubs you need to run with if you want them to be competitive. You want to play football or baseball, they need travel baseball, travel basketball, 7-on-7 football, year-round sports. And it costs a lot. It costs a lot. So now how much you think some of these children, these black children that start from a very negative condition, they already starting from I ain't gonna say they're getting a good start at the starting line, but they start behind the starting line. Because their parents can't put them in a good position. They can't afford to get them involved in these extracurricular activities. You know, things that lets you know that they are a priority. They're gonna find some other way, because there's too much energy stored up in them. There's too much of that brain in there, man. But I mean, that brain computer is seeking too much, and it can't help it. I mean, a normal functioning brain is going to consume whatever is introduced to it. You know, and if we don't pay attention to it, we're creating a bunch of little junkies, because we're junkies.
Yeah.
We're junkies for pleasure. And I'm seeing it happen in real life. You remember in Jungle Fever, how Samuel Jackson acted toward his mama when he wanted that money to get that dope?
Yep.
Now think about that little boy killing his mama because his mama wouldn't buy that video game on Amazon. Then he still ordered the game after he killed her. That boy, well, I think if I ain't mistaken, he was 11 years old, had a gun, used a gun, got her card, ordered a game, murdered her. All of those things completely a child shouldn't even have in their mindset to want to do. Those 5 things all in one motion, still in the car, ordering it, actually being able to order this game. Getting a gun, using it, killing his mama, and even believing that was an option. Somebody done exposed this boy to a little bit too much for him to feel like that was an option. You know, that was a grown man, a grown junkie decision.
Yeah.
And that was a child. They came from the actions of a child. Some of these children taking guns to school. They performing actions of grown, misprogrammed junkies. And we just said, oh, these children bad, but they got it from somewhere. They got it from us.
Exactly.
Because we allowed them to be exposed to it, you know. So man, it's funny that Donald brought up the Almond Joy, because I can remember the first time I used to look at that Almond Joy commercial, man, and be like, ooh, man, yes, sometimes you feel like a mess, sometimes you don't, man. Ooh, that look good.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Then that Milky Way, man, they had the nicest songs for the Milky Way, and the little caramel and all that would just be ooh. And I finally ate one of them things, and that's when I found out that everything that looked good ain't good.
Ain't good, exactly. Now, what about the Hardee's commercials? Hardee's always have this, ooh, you know, and crazy foolishness like that, man. Hardee's always have them crazy sexual commercials. It's just that they're pushing it on you, and now they're just pushing it on you in a different way, on a different level. Ryan, talk to me, brother.
He is crazy.
Again, it goes back to, and I have to say it like this: it goes back to that sponge. It goes back to that sponge that we're talking about. What are we dipping our children in? Because what we dip them in, when the pressure come and squeeze on them, and life come and squeeze on them, whatever we dip them in is gonna come out. Because that's all they know. That's all they have. And so we have to take some responsibilities as well. Go ahead.
Let's look at it from a different perspective. What about the stuff them sponges being dipped in that's outside of our control? Because I think you guys know me and my wife well enough to know we run our house. We give our children every opportunity that I can possibly and that she could possibly do to succeed. We train them in the right ways to recognize right from wrong. And then they go to school, and the school mess it all up. and my kids come home from school and I have to unlearn them. Unlearn them. And I really didn't realize that that was a thing until I worked under a lady in Oregon who is so overly educated that she hired me, some young punk who don't know nothing but street, to work for her business because she didn't have to unlearn me from what they taught me in school. And these are things that are out there that we don't have any control over. We're told to shut up and take it. You try and go to a PTA meeting or a meeting with the school board, and they'll have you removed if you don't agree with their opinions. And but I have faith because I'm seeing it out there. I'm seeing parents getting together and unifying and rolling up into these school board meetings and say, hey, guess what? You don't have a right to sit in that chair. We put you there. So guess what? We taking you out. And they fire the whole school board and elect people that have a mindset of what they want their children to learn. Not this Common Core garbage where 1 + 1 is 3. And as long as you can explain why you got to for that, they'll pass you. Stop passing the kid for messing up in anybody the right way. If they got to go back to school and repeat that year, well, I guess they got to repeat that year. But we can't keep teaching these children that wrong is right. We can't keep teaching them that we're just going to pass you even though you didn't do things the right way. We got to start forcing these systems to do things how we want them to do, not how they want to do, because we are the ones in charge, not them. And I think this country has lost the sight that we're the ones in charge. And they cower down to the man, if you will, and let them just run over everybody. The government walk in like Debo. That's my child. What
you got on my 40?
Got my 40, Homer.
Exactly. Wow. Zamari, what's on your heart, Zamari?
Just listening. I mean, yeah. I don't even know where to go with this at this point. But you know, you have to. And like I said in the chat, like a lot of parents anymore, they don't teach their kids resilience, how to even resistance, if you will, how to resist certain things. Like my husband was saying, you know, every time our kids go to school, they come home and we got to unlearn them. And that is a tiring task. It is exhausting because they go to school and those teachers, those educators will tell our children something that contradicts what we're teaching our children. And then we got to unlearn them. Well, teacher said, but well, hold on. But you know better because we've taught you this thing your whole life. You know better. But teacher said, because that's the educator. That's the one that they're looking up to. And a lot of these kids now, they put more value in their teachers than they do in their parents. But why? Why do they do that? Because the parents are not valuable because they're not spending the time. They're not getting, like I said, they're not getting down on the floor. They're not doing those puzzles, playing Legos, creating that space where the parent or where the children are looking up to them and going, you know, looking at them in awe, if you will, like, wow, you're so awesome. You're my superhero. You know, and unfortunately, I never grew up looking at my parents as superheroes because I didn't have that, you know, that conducive environment. But my kids, and it's so sweet because, you know, my kids, they look at Ryan, they look at me, and they have that awe. You know, mommy, you're so beautiful. You know, like I said with my son, Daddy, I want to be just like you. You know, they do that. But why do they do that? Because we show them that we love them.
Yep.
We show them through our actions. We show them by snuggling in the bed and sitting together and watching TV and laughing. We have created as much as we can that connection, even in those moments where they're like, oh, we don't ever do anything and our life is so boring. But you know what? At the end of the day, Mama, I love you. And like the other last night, as a matter of fact, my 13-year-old, how many 13-year-olds do you know, 14-year-olds even, that'll snuggle up in the bed with their mom or their dad? My little girl, she just came over to me yesterday. She laid in the bed with me. Mommy, I don't feel good. Cuddle me. Grab my arm.
Yeah.
Just hold me, Mommy. Just hold me. Because she has that value in me as her parent. So when we say something to our kids to unlearn them, they take a minute and they listen. They don't just listen to the teachers and go, oh, they're right, you're wrong. But it's a constant thing that we're having to do, right? Teaching them. We've told you this thing your whole life. So why are you going to listen to somebody that you have teaching you for 1 year? We've taught you for 10, 11, 12.
And listening to their little friends. I used to tell my daughters all the time, how you going to listen to them? They're the same age as you. Well, they the same experiences that you have. They had pretty much the same experience. Y'all the same age. How they going to tell you something?
Exactly. And we tell our kids that all the time. Well, so-and-so said, well, how old is so-and-so?
Yeah.
You can't, and we tell them straight up, you can't have a kid teaching a kid. They're still learning too. So why are you going to listen to them when you know better? You know better.
Exactly. Rico, I saw your hand, brother. What's on your heart?
Man, she took everything I was going to say out of my mouth, but I got to take it a step further. This is the reason why. Women love men, or people look up to people that live a more exciting life than them. And sometimes they meet other children that are good liars that can make their life seem so much more exciting than their life. And so they start wondering why my parents didn't do that for me, that their parents are doing for them. So that's why, I mean, you know, when you said that about the wow thing, I was going to go there. But see, the thing is that wow has to have some excitement to it too. See, the parents are the first teachers. And every time a child learns something new, it's like, wow. But that learning something new, wow, is something totally different than turning a backflip, wow.
Yeah.
Than fireworks, wow. Than hitting a home run, wow. Than winning a race and getting all the praise and recognition. You the best, wow. So that's why some people look for validation outside. You know, but at the same time, they're looking for that excitement. They're looking for that wow. And that's how important it is for a parent to make sure. See, I get the cuddling up thing. That's good. But one day they're going to meet somebody that's going to make them have an orgasm. Wow. And if you ain't gave that child a bunch of mental orgasms and physical orgasms, not sexual, but that type of excitement and sensation, if you ain't gave them that crack blast, or that alcohol blast, if you ain't altered their mind state with some things so sensational and so exciting, and then shown them from example what resilience look like, what crawling before you walks look like, what patience look like. They might see, you know, hard work pays off, because now you're worth more money than these people that blew all their money having fun when you was young. But now look at what you got compared to what they got. This is the reason why we didn't go and waste this money. And we worked hard and did it the resilient, patient way. You got to be consistent and lead by example. But at the same time, you definitely got to make sure that they always watching, because that little brain is looking for that wow. It's always looking for a wow. Everything that a child learns new when they come into this world, the first time a baby opens their eyes, wow, I can see. The first time they realize that they can walk, wow. They see other kids running. Wow, they running. Look at him. He ain't too much older than me. Well, I want to do what they doing. That brain soaking it in. So you have to give them a whole lot of physical wows too. A whole lot of, because excitement is the biggest. Joy, happiness, pleasure, excitement, feeling good. That's what our whole motivation is. Ain't nobody living this life to feel bad. Everybody wake up every day to find something to feel good about it, to do something to make them feel good. And if anybody on the outside can make your child feel better than you ever made them feel, if a school teacher can make your child feel better than you ever made them feel because they're giving them more wows, more praise. Hey, great job. Good work. Some children get their motivation from the stars and the good jobs and the stickers that that was my motivation to make straight A, not from my parents. They gave me a little bit of support, but my motivation was the stickers. I like collecting stickers, so that's why I made perfect on tests. Ain't that something? But that was my wow. So I tell people all the time, man, you have to mind screw people sometimes. You have to manipulate people sometimes into a wow factor to get them to do the right thing, because that's what's getting people to do the wrong thing. All this exciting looking stuff. Even cross-dressing might look exciting for a little boy that ain't got nothing to give him any excitement in his life.
Wow. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna say this right here. Then I'm gonna turn it over to Tucson for a second. I'm gonna step away and go upstairs, and I'm being pulled away for just a minute. So, Tucson, I want you to keep it going. Don't forget Toya with the T is on the phone line as well. But one of the things that I do, certainly with my grandkids now, I got four grandkids. One of the things that I do with them is when I'm talking to them, when I'm explaining something to them, I don't hover over them. Always kneel down and get on their level, and I get eye to eye with them. I go, yeah, exactly. I kneel down, and I kneel down. Now all of them gonna be taller than me one day. I ain't no tall fella, but I kneel down right now, and I get eye to eye, and I say, why did you do that? What's going on? And I talk to them, and I explain to them. I said, well, did you think about this right here? Did you know that this was going to happen when you do that? And I have a conversation with them, but it's eye to eye. It's not like I'm hovering over them. What you do that for? Why? No, because that's so. I think that's so intimidating to a child, to have an adult hovering over them, because now they're fearful. They're very fearful. But when I get down, and I something I had to learn, man. I get down, and I get eye to eye, and I talk to them, and I keep my voice just like this. When I'm talking, I don't yell. No. I could be upset, but I keep my voice like this. I said, why'd you do that? I said, but what were you trying to do? Why? Why? Explain to me. Explain to me. Explain to people why you did that. And I hush my mouth. Explain to people why you did that. And so that way, that now they're taught. Well, I sometimes I don't know. No. You know, that's not an answer for me. Because a lot of times they'll say, I don't know, and they'll try to blow it over. No, that's not an answer for me. I'm not going to accept. I don't know. Tell me why you did that. Tell me why. What were you thinking? What were you trying to do when you did that? What were you trying to do? What were you trying to? And I sometimes I find myself I have to back my conversation back, or I say something like accomplish. They'll say, what that mean? And, yeah. I said, what were you trying to accomplish? What that mean? What that mean, people? I said, okay, I get it now. What were you trying to get when you did that? What were you trying to get? Tucson, I got to pull away for a second. Keep the conversation going for me, brother. Yeah. Y'all, I'll be right back.
And I'm glad you said that you got to meet them eye to eye, because the world bullies people. We have a world of bullies, and they stand over us on the platforms that they have, commercials and TV and video and all these games and entertainment. They're on the phone, they're on the tablets, they're on the computer, they're on the school. You can always go to the internet, and the world bullies you. They look over you and they stand over like this big giant, and they tell you what to do. So that's a good tactic, because I remember when I was coming up, I don't know, Rico, what they say, boy, go sit down somewhere. Grown folks are talking. You can't do that to kids these days. Grown folks, not only grown folks are talking, but their peers are talking, and everybody's influenced by something. So as the world influences us, we got to take our time to stop and listen to these kids. Don't talk to. Sometimes you got to make them talk. They shy. They've been bullied. They've been talked down to. They've been manipulated, and you just got to hear them out. And sometimes you just got to meet them eye to eye and say, hey, what's going on? Make it a plain and simple conversation, and let them talk. Sometimes you got to make them talk. But I'm just dying to hear what Toya and somebody else. I heard somebody come in on the phone lines. So we but Toya, you're there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Hey,
Yeah. No,
what's
you're
on
right.
your
You're
heart?
right, Susan. I mean, working with some young adults right now, they're ranging from 18 to 23. And boy, are they different. All right. But they still know their place. But I think it's again with you, right? Because you're right. They have been bullied, right? And then they find places where they can express themselves and be themselves. And an adult is still adult. And there are times when I come around the corner and they'll go respond to me because I'll be dipping in their conversation, going to respond. And it be a certain tone. And I give them a look. They're like, oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean like that. I'm like, nah, you good. See, I'm learning that they know and they crave someone to be an adult in the building. They crave for you not to waver into them because they're used to that. Right. They're craving someone to lead them and tell them the way because the things they're going through at home with their parents talk to their friends better than they talk to their kids. Their parents get their siblings to join in on talking about how terrible you are as a child or as an individual. And then later on, oh, we're just playing with you. Oh, you should be your sweat. And then here they come to work and they feel normal, like a person, right? So you're right. You got to have this eye, and that's what I do at work, right? Because they're terrible there, right? New person come, ain't nobody speaking, ain't nobody showing you the ropes. Every time somebody new come, I'm going, hey, how you doing? I'm Toya. I don't want you to feel left out, even if I don't like you. I don't want you to feel alone in this world. I don't want you to feel bullied. I don't want you to come from a background where, because I know how parents are. I know how family is. I know how dog eat dog this world is. And sometimes we just need one person that's going to give us a sigh of relief. You got anxiety because you never had nobody genuine around you before. And I don't think we notice that no more. But you're right. Just listen to them. These are their own individuals with their own strange minds, with these cultural ways that we've taught them. They don't even know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because that's how we before them did it. So I agree with him. When we see these young adults, think about who you were at 23. Think about what you was doing at 23, or whatever age you feel like you have a issue with these other individuals that are not you. In the same way you didn't listen, they not gonna listen. But it's very important still that we still train them and lead the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then you got to be, you have to have balance. If a child doesn't, if you don't have balance, if parents don't have balance, kids are not going to have no balance. You shove, and this is a Christian broadcast. I don't even think you should shove religion down your child's throat. I'm a PK. I'm a PK. My kids are PKs. My daddy was a PK. My mama was a PK. We've been PK'd. Church. But turn that off. Every once in a while, that's just me. Let's just talk about life. Let's just set all of this aside and let's have family time. Let's sit down at the table and let's just talk about what's going on at school. Because if you don't find out what's going on at your child's school, you're going to wish you had. Because some of the things that you said it, Zamari, some of the things that are taught in school, some of the people that are teaching at school live lifestyles that they bring before the students. And the kids are like Rico said, wow, you mean it? Wow. And then, no, have mercy, the way that some of these teachers talk and dress before our kids. They'll make a little boy say,
ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee. You right on time.
That make you wish you could go back to school.
I'm trying to tell you. Look, my child didn't come home today.
Oh, Lord.
What you mean your child didn't come home today? He followed the teacher home.
How about this one right here? I know he passed, but can he repeat this year one more time?
he been in third grade 3 years.
Lord. Now, Tucson. I said keep it going for me. Now when I left out, you was talking, and when I came back, you were still talking. Did you call on anybody, Tucson?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I follow instructions.
Okay. So I left out. I left out. You was talking. I came back.
Look, watch this right here. Watch this.
Uh-oh. Look at that. He froze. Look, he ain't froze for real. That joker. See, look at that.
Yeah, he froze, man. Look, he used his passer skills real good, man. He held it down for you, man.
Good deal. I knew he would. But we got on the phone, like he couldn't see the phone.
I muted out and I got off the screen on purpose.
There you go. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about our kids today. We're talking about our kids. You been listening in?
Yes.
Okay.
Some.
We're talking about are we robbing our kids of situations, learning experiences, or things that we had to do, but are we transitioning that over to having the iPads, the tablets, and all the different things and all the activities? Are we passing on the bill? Are we passing the buck and allowing them to raise our kids? Are we robbing our kids of experiences that they should have?
Yeah, we are, but once again, I'm gonna mention this every time we talk like this, because we have to remember that technology is what everybody wants. Everybody wants to be able to do things faster. Everybody, that's the adults and children, are trying to do things faster, better than working it out in your head or whatever.
Cassandra,
everybody's doing it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Cassandra, because you said something real powerful just now. Is faster always better? Can you
No, it's not.
Okay.
But in the world that we live in, this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So on your jobs, those that have jobs, how has your job changed since technology has taken over? How many people are not in place because of artificial intelligence, which is going to continue to grow? So yes, our children are on the computers, the iPads, all of that. But why are they on it? It's because even classes, when COVID hit, they couldn't go in a classroom. So what did they depend on? A computer, their iPads. Those were the things that they depended on to learn. And also, this is another thing. A lot of parents are not skilled enough to teach their children at home. So let's be real about that. They don't know how to teach their children. Hardly anything, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And then you take our 66% Black mothers. Our families are run by 66%, and that was in 2016. It's probably higher now. Are run by Black females who are trying to do 2 jobs just to make it. I'm saying, yes, technology is doing its thing, but this is what is happening in the world, period. Technology has taken over.
Okay. Cassandra, I'm going to ask you a question, and we talked about this a little bit earlier as well. And Toya with a T, I'll be on standby, sister, coming to you next. And I know how you feel about it because you fight a lot for the cause. But let me ask you this. Do you think, I'm not even going to go that way. Do you think that society, the media, the world is pushing, force feeding the homosexuality, bisexual, LGBT community? Do you think they're forcing it on people? Or because everybody have a right, if you want to be that, that's fine. But do you think they are actually forcing it on everybody to accept it, or what do you think it is?
Okay, can we just be honest?
Even if you feel like they are pushing it on you, do you have to accept what they are pushing on you? That's whether you are a parent or a child.
Cassandra, are you talking directly into your phone? Cassandra, are you talking directly? I can hear you, but it's still just a little bit muffled. Are you talking directly?
I'm outside, so you might not.
Okay,
that's why you're hearing.
No, that's better right there. That's better. That's better. That's much better. Go ahead. Make your point, sis.
Okay, so no, I'm just saying, even if you feel like they're pushing it on you, do you have to accept it? No, you don't. Because if you're on a job and they're saying that, and they're homosexuals and you don't want to work around them, what do you need to do? Because the system is not going to change. The whole society that we live in, they are not going to change. This is biblical. So for those of us that are spiritual, you know that this is biblical, everything is happening. So how do you change what God has already told you is going to happen? So I don't know. You don't have to accept what they do. Get another job where you don't have homosexuals working around you, and they're not, teaching your children. Put your children in private school, or because we're moving more toward that, where they'll allow you to put your child in a private Christian school or private Muslim school or whatever.
But see, my thing is,
it's things that we can do.
Yeah, but my thing is right here. I don't want to put people in a situation where they have to walk around with blinders on and act like they just kind of feel their way around with blinders on. But at the same time, does it have to be pushed in across the board as much as being crossed? Because I look at a TV. I look at a TV show.
How do you make people? How do you make turn the TV? Turn the damn TV show off. Excuse me, if it offends you. I'm just saying. If it's something on TV, that's your TV.
Yeah.
Turn the channel and watch something else.
But
don't allow your children. That's why they have parent controls.
Cassandra,
put parent control on your TV.
Cassandra, listen to me, sis. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. But what I'm asking is, does it have to be pushed in the way that it's being pushed? If I could be looking at a Bugs Bunny, and Bugs Bunny was one of my favorite cartoons, Bugs Bunny, and in the middle of watching Bugs Bunny, one of the commercials come on, and it's two men kissing and all kind of things like that. Where they pushing, I think they're pushing that agenda. Now, I want to look at my TV.
Push the button and turn it off, or go walk away until the commercial is over. The commercial is 2 to 3 minutes. We are not going to change the way society is going because it's biblical. How do you change biblical stuff that's already been prophesied thousands of years ago? How are you going to change that? That's all I'm saying. All of this, everything that's happening has been stated in the Bible.
Okay.
So how do you? I don't know.
And Cassandra, you stay
Maybe
right.
Y'all got an answer.
Okay, and Cassandra, you stay right there because I love your passion this morning. I really love your passion this morning. So you stay right there. Don't you go nowhere. Toya, what did talk to me? Says what's on your heart?
Yeah, no, she right. But are we switching topics?
No. We talked about this a little bit earlier as well.
Oh, okay. Well, no, so I feel like there's an influence behind it. I'm sorry, we're talking about, that there's an influence behind television. There's an influence behind media. There's an influence behind the way we act with the things that they spray in the sky that falls down, right? And it isn't until we discover, and it gets blown out of the water by a whistleblower, that this is so, that we're going to believe this is so. But it's kind of like a couple of other things. We said something, hey, don't do that. And they was like, yeah, do it. And then now we find out, oh, shouldn't have done that. They weren't crazy after all. You know what I'm saying? But so for me, I do believe that there's a specific influence on the homosexual thing. And I think it goes back to, that population control again. Right? We talked a multitude of times of things that they can do to control the population. And I think that's one of them. I thought earlier we were talking about
the kids.
What are we talking about? Huh?
About the kids. Are we robbing our children?
Right. Yeah. So again, that goes back to that, right? I feel because we know there's multiple influences. It's not just the gay community. Because my thing is this: even as a child, I've said this before. you're not accepted anyplace else. You go for someone gay. All of the stories I met on gay men, they were always turned out by some male teacher at school.
Wow.
I would say out of five male gay men that I talked to, 3 of them were that. 2 of them were, people called me that my whole life because I like to get clean, or I like to do this, or, I stayed with my mom. So I had a lot of different, female attributes, and they called me gay, and I thought I was, and that's just that, right? I just recently heard 2 stories. One story, there's a guy where he has a lot of feminine traits. You would think he gay, but he'll tell you in a second, listen, I was raised by my mama, I was raised by my grandma, and I get more booty than most men. I don't want no woman now. I know I have feminine ways and movement, but I'm all man, straight 100, right? Now, I don't know, I'm suspect, but I've always been with women his whole life. And just recently, this one guy said, I just met the other day, he's about 38-ish. He said, I knew at 4 that I was going to love me some men, right? First I've ever heard, right? Let's say this is interview number 27, right?
Yeah.
But there's different strokes for different folks. And at the end of the day, who we are is influenced by some things. I think that's what we remember. I think we just think we wake up like, oh yeah, nothing had an influence on me and who I am. No, I really believe that there are certain influences that some of these people who say they're gay or feel like they've been born gay, I think there are influences that contributed to that. And if we can go back and pinpoint behaviors and things that went on in the home and point out an imbalance, I believe that we would find an imbalance there on what could potentially have influenced them, to submit to that kind of desire, right? Because Rico says it all the time, what make me feel good. And if women never made me feel good, I could see why I would be in love with a man, because it's driven by emotion, right? You can love and like somebody, but if you're not taught how to break this thing down, how to decipher this, or again, who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Who you're supposed to be.
Now, Toya, what do you say? What do you say to the person? What do you say to the person that says, "Who's to dictate what I am supposed to be with my life?" What do you say to that person?
Well, we all can say that, because I can say that too. I can say that right now. Who can dictate what I'm supposed to be?
Yeah.
But apples is apples and oranges and oranges. You can call an apple an orange all you want to.
Yeah. I got you. Toya,
Life
you something
is
else.
what it is. When it comes to being
Toya, you
man
something
and
else.
woman, I'm just being for real.
Absolutely. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
A tree is a tree, period. It doesn't matter what you say. You can tell me what you want me to believe. That's fine. But if you ain't got no money, you ain't got no money, no matter how much you say it. If you're a guy and you're a transgender acting like a girl, I don't care what you get removed. I don't get what you get restapled. I don't get what you get drawn on. You still a guy. You're still a guy. If I'm a woman, I'm a very strong woman. And if I were gay, I would probably be the dominant one. I get that about myself, but I am still a woman. No matter how strong I act, I can knock a bunch of guys out. Some guys I ain't. It's still not going to make me no man. So at the end of the day, I'm just saying, we certain things just are what they are. You can never change that, and everything else that we're trying to influence is us. That's the power that we have. So if you have the power to be a guy because I'm a lesbian, I didn't really change that power. I just changed the perception.
Yeah.
It's just acceptable now. So they're just going with what I say. It doesn't make it true.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Exactly. I think somebody wanted to say something in the middle of that, Toya. Somebody who wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I was just like agreeing with what Toya said. Do you know how many gay people over my almost 40 years, how many gay people were turned out by religious leaders? That's Muslims, Christians, you name it. They were turned out by people in their particular religion. Does that mean we stop religion because you got a few fools doing the crazy stuff? No, but we got to be real about what's happening. What happened to those people? They were violated, and most of the gay people that I know, they were violated. They just didn't wake up and say, hey, I like being gay. No, when you are 4 years old and somebody is molesting you, a man or a woman, something happens in your brain. We got to realize this stuff. And yes, we can try to reprogram people, but these people are hurting. They have the highest rate of suicide because they don't even understand what's going on. So I'm just putting that out there.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, I saw your hand, brother.
I don't want it to get misconstrued that we bashing homosexuality. We saying that we don't feel like it should be pushed down our throats. You know, children shouldn't have to watch cartoons and get caught unexpectedly. We could turn as many TVs off as we want to, but then sometimes it's too late. By the time the commercial start, they already done seen the man kissing the man. Hey, what's going on? They don't. I mean, we don't know that the AIDS commercial is about to come on. You get what I'm saying? And it's sort of funny because I don't remember when I was young seeing birth control commercials. You know. And I sort of hated that we went into the homosexual and LGBTQ thing because, you know, I went and referred to Angel Heart earlier. Angel Heart was about heterosexuality, but it still was hypersexual behavior that was unnecessary for a movie. Yeah. So, you know, I think what it is we have to understand that all information that you are exposed to will eventually be influenced. It's an introduction to something that influences you to think about what you just saw.
Exactly.
If you just happen to catch a glimpse of a man kissing a man or a man wearing a dress, that's gonna make you think about what you just saw.
Yeah.
And unless you born into this world with a brain that's going door. For the first 10, 12 years of your life, I don't remember nothing before 10. What was you doing before 10? Internet scramble. No, you looking at information and this brain is receiving it and trying to make sense of it. Looking for whys and reasoning and understanding. You know, so that subconscious exposure, you know, we can turn the TVs off, but sometimes we caught off guard. Sometimes we don't know that the TV or the video game or the cartoon is fixing to show this behavior.
Yeah.
Because it's unexpected. And number one is unexpected. Number two is unnecessary because they're putting these things in wrong places. So what's going on is that we do have to find that balance. And on top of knowing that these things exist, it's a difference in acknowledging that somebody is pushing this thing that was like these people that were violated. Introduces this behavior in a traumatic way, now making it seem normal to children that haven't been violated or traumatized. Introduce, hey, you can be like this too, even though somebody might not have taken advantage of you. If you feel this way, show it. Put rainbows.
Wow.
No, man, no.
Go ahead.
That's a way of life, you know. And so, I mean, you know, I feel like even with the conversations that's going on with LGBTQ, their talking points to justify their point of view should only be used by hermaphrodites. I don't understand how people who are born with their normal working organs are going making hermaphrodite arguments to justify them being the way that they are. When, like what Toya said, you know, you a woman, you expected to have children. If you born a man, you're not expected to have children. Not from your inner body. You're not fixing to carry a baby. It's not expected. Now, a woman might not be able to carry a baby, but that means something abnormal happened for a woman to not be able to carry or deliver a baby. But it is expected for a woman to be able to carry and deliver a baby, and it is expected for a man to not be able to carry and deliver a baby.
Good deal. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And I want to extend an invitation. If you're listening and you are a part of the LGBT community, don't want to be disrespectful. I'm stop right there, LGBT community, because I don't want to be disrespectful and put the wrong letters in there. And you want to be a part of this conversation, we love to have you as a part of the conversation. Please call in 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. I don't want to notice anybody else want to speak for you. We have a platform here where you can actually speak for yourself. So give us a call, 508-924-3521.
And I want to repeat. I'm not. My comments aren't just directed at the homosexuality. You know, I'm gonna say the bombardment of bad information and hypersexuality, because I've seen it since I was young. Certain movies that they interjected sex scenes that were really unnecessary, and I would feel uncomfortable then, even though I was heterosexual. I would still be like, "Well, that scene wasn't necessary."
Exactly. Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Whoa!
Raheem, good morning.
Good morning, young lady.
Morning.
We got two topics going on right now. Our main topic that we're talking about is, are we robbing our kids? Are we robbing our kids of experiences that they should have by putting their tablet and different things of that nature in their hand and not spending the quality time or pouring quality things into them? Are we robbing our kids? And the second part of the conversation is what you just heard about the LGBT community. Is it being force-fed to us as individuals? What do you say to either one of those conversations?
Oh, Ryan, I thought you was talking about that being force-fed to the children on part of that first question.
Yeah, it intertwine. They intertwine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so true. I mean, I heard Toya and Cassandra and just now Rico, all of them have hit on great points about the sexual choices that people make in life, because that's exactly what it is. And it is biblical, definitely biblical. We're in those times where evil is showing itself more than ever, because we're getting close to the end of the age. Yes, the influence of our children has been diminished by the technology that has been provided for our children as a way of escape, as trying to do what we should do as parents. You know, and then you find in a lot of households, Raheem, that there are single parents, women who are just trying to raise their children alone when there is really not a man, should I say, in the household. And there are some that are in the household that are not providing us proper training for the children that need to have parental guidance. But when the parents are messed up, how do you expect the children to be any different? So yeah, it's all biblical, Raheem. You know, the evilness of this world. You know, and we're talking about the LBG, and I get that mixed up too. So I don't mean to disrespect any group, but when you talk about that sexual desire that a man or a woman have, you got to look at it from a biblical standpoint, because to be sexual or to have sex was really meant for reproduction. And Cap talked about it all the time, that two men can't have a baby, nor can two women. So at one time or another, that kind of label will be diminished at a certain time, especially in a man or a woman's time. Think about it, Raheem. Excuse me. Cassandra and Rico both said it, both. The mind. What I'm going to just take it off of your sexual desire and just say, what about a person who's a fornicator, that who just has that disease, or who's an adulteress, who has that disease? Because we all have some kind of sin, but the Bible says to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Even if you thought that it was something that you were born with, you don't give into that desire. That's why there's something here to make a way of an escape for you. But that's the reason why we don't do it, because we make the choice to give in to what we want, what we desire. I could care less what the Bible says. I don't even believe in it. And that's the reason they don't want to believe in it, because they want to do what they want to do. And I wouldn't care if you was a person who desired another man or woman, even if you was a thief or a liar, all of that, a murderer, you know, what you're going to bring out with that? People going to start labeling you with that, and now y'all want your own community. So it all lines up with the same thing. But why we pick so much on, or why we choose this subject, is because visually, you want to disrespect the biblical law of what you're supposed to be, and then make our children a force, like Rico said, force it down their throats, put it in the school, trying to change who they are at a young age. So this ain't nothing but the work of the enemy right here. And that's what's on my heart right here.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm gonna put a couple of comments up here that Paul, a public citizen, said. One is this. Let me see here. He says not all gays were abused, but as a group, they have higher rates of child abuse. As a group, they have higher rates of child abuse. And the second thing he says, maybe they are pushing the idea that we shouldn't bully gays. What's wrong with that? And Paul, I think this is the second time that you've said something about bullying gays. I'd love for you to call in and go a little deeper into what you mean by that, because when you talk about bullying is not just a situation that happened to gay people. Bully is something that happened across the board. I mean, you could be straight, you could be whatever you want to be, and still get bullied. So gay people don't have a monopoly on getting bullied. Yes, they may get bullied a little more. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know how the numbers will roll out, but at the same time, I don't want to push the narrative that they're the only ones that's being bullied, because certainly they are not. Certainly they are not. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
And you know what? Here's the deal. If there are a group of people that not all of a sudden, but gradually, they have pushed a agenda, and they want to say, woe is me, because some of us, not all of them, like he's actually right, not all of them have been abused. Some of them got turned out in the bathroom.
Wow.
Some of them have been entertained so much in that arena from a small age that they think it's right. They think it's okay. They think that you can mingle and mix only long. All you need is love. All we want is love. All I want to do is to be loved, and so I love him or her. And so here's the thing. Okay, so I've been hated all my life, okay? So does that give me an excuse to go around hating and manipulating people? Does that give me a badge of pity? And I just walk around and say, everybody, I want you to be like him. He just so, let me throw this out here. Should I just walk around and I do it, but I don't force it down people's throat. Everybody you just got to be a Christian, and you just got to live like we got. No, people have choices.
Yeah,
but if you don't allow people to give the opportunity to change or to redirect some of this mess, all of us going to hell in a bucket. You gotta, when your child comes home and they see all of this stuff that goes on, you gotta sit that child down and you gotta correct the wrong that has been pointed out. It's on the commercials, it's on the TV, it's on the computer, it's on everywhere you go. Here's this thing. And you can't just, and I'm sorry, I love my sister Cassandra. I love you. Sure do.
He said, sure do.
I understand this is biblical. I understand this. But there is a standard that we're supposed to set up that will turn a person's heart and mind and direction to say right is right, wrong is wrong. Stand up for righteousness. We're not supposed to yield, because we're accountable for giving a person a right direction to go in and say, hold up, stop, turn, don't go in that direction, because sure, the world is coming to an end. We already know that the world is getting weaker and wiser. I understand that perfectly. But what we're going to do, we're just going to say, well, we're going to turn every commercial off, every TV, every program, and we just let them just go to hell. Just go do what you want to do. Just do what you want to do. Because here's what we're doing, and I'm gonna shut up. I promise you. They've it's kindergarten children. It's elementary children. What has happened to our society. I understand that people got to go to work 2 or 3 jobs. That's good, but that's not an excuse. Somewhere in scripture it says you're not going to have an excuse to say, okay, well, Lord, it's just the way that we live. That's just okay.
Mhm.
You think that's going to be? You think that's going to be a good answer for people to give?
No.
And I don't think so.
Mhm.
I just don't think
Exactly. I'm coming to Ryan, but I'm gonna go to Cassandra first to find out whether she want to respond to what you just said. Cassandra, anything on your heart about what Tucson just said?
No, first of all, let me say that I never said that all gay people were molested, because I know that is not so. I've never said that, never. And if it sounded like I said that, I was saying that is totally not true. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that there is a large amount of them that were molested.
Yes.
Is that an excuse? No, because I was molested and I'm not gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody doesn't handle everything the same way. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
What you were able to get over, bravo and praise God. You were able to get over that, but guess what? The next man or next woman might have not been able to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have counseling. And even, especially in our community, y'all know, it was almost a taboo if a person was struggling with something to go and get help. Come on now, let's just be, if we're going to be real, I'm talking about our community. That was totally taboo. You going to a therapist, a counselor, what? Okay, so if I was misunderstood, I do not believe that all gay people were molested. And even when you were talking about hermaphrodite, I have a very close family member that was hermaphrodite. I've said that on here before for years.
Mm-hmm.
And she just happened to, she had female organs as well, and she was more female because she had children, but she was hermaphrodite at birth. So, I don't know. So,
it's a lot.
Nothing.
It's a lot tied into this thing, and I love everybody's honesty, transparency, and passion about what we're talking about. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother?
Not that she needed, but I'm gonna catch Cassandra back on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Not all have been abused in some way, shape, or form, but the vast majority have.
Mm-hmm.
It's scientifically proven. There are articles out there.
If you could put up and I know you can't. And this question may be very unfair, but if you could put a percentage on it, what percentage would you say were molested? Wow.
Yeah, maybe even higher than that. To be honest with you, if what was passed on. We had this conversation in church one day, and I'm gonna just say the preacher. I ain't gonna put his name out there, because he talk about things that would get him in trouble with the government. So we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
But he produced articles for us during a conference out of scientific magazines talking about suicide rates. And the number of trans/homosexuals who had been abused. And there was a listing of the type of abuse that they went through that turned them or had assisted them in making this choice, if you will. And I may have mentioned this before, but one was growing up in a house full of women, having no men around. I think Toya was mentioning a brother who was still all man, but had some effeminate practices in the way he acted. And so that was one of them, is growing up in a house full of women with no men, and they just become a woman over time. The other was clergymen. I think that was mentioned already. One was being molested by a family member at a young age, and that brain of that child reconciling that action as, oh, this is completely normal, this is safe, and they start adopting that lifestyle. The other was exploration, going out and exploring and doing different things and finding out, oh, that felt good too. Like Rico always say, the feel goods. That felt good. And then they stick with it. So there's all of these different layers of things that contribute. And I'm going to tie this back in with the original topic. You're putting all this stuff out there for these kids to see at a young age that their brain can compute, but it can't rationalize. So it looks good to them because they're smiling. They're having a good time. They're talking about love. They're putting all the dopamine into these advertisements to make it look appealing.
Yeah.
And then they go out and try these things. And what happens? It makes them feel good. So they think it's okay. They think it's normal. So, like Tucson said, we got to have a standard. It's okay for you to be like that, but don't be pushing this on everybody because it's not for everybody. We're not meant to conform to your ways. Your ways are not our ways. Science says if you can't reproduce, you're useless. You don't deserve to live. So stop teaching our kids to change so that they cannot reproduce and remove humanity because of your agenda of wanting to kill off people so the 1% can control everything. I know that went a little above and beyond, but that's the whole plan.
So that's what, you just answered my question. I was going to say, do you think that's what the plan is?
That's the plan. The plan all along, and it's been documented throughout history, is to keep the population levels low so we can't revolt against those people in the top.
So basically,
they keep us low.
What I'm hearing you say,
they got nothing to worry about.
Basically, what I'm hearing you say is man is trying to play God.
Yeah, always. Wow. Man, always trying to play God.
Wow. Let me go to the phone lines. Paul, good morning, sir. And Badger coming to you next. Paul, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Speak directly to your phone, brother.
Right.
Speak directly to your phone. You're a little bit low.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, let me turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, turn it up some.
Okay, that's good. All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My dog's fighting. Okay. So, yeah, I think it's a very loaded topic. Nothing is like, I think there is sort of an agenda, but I guess I disagree probably with Ryan and some others about the nature of it. I think, like all these companies, they want to kind of be at the forefront or whatever, I think polling shows like, all these companies are trying to reach demographics and stuff. So I think the polling shows that if you have things that are more inclusive of other groups, then you're going to get more people buying your stuff. I think they go too far in certain cases, like with the Bud Light thing. There was a big backlash about that transgender person. But yeah, I looked up some research about the incidence of abuse among gays. I found one thing that said 35% of gay people said that they were victims of child sexual abuse. I found another.
You say 35%?
Psychology Association. Yeah, that was 35. But that was self-reporting. So we have to question: are these people being completely honest? I don't know. Another one was they looked at like thousands of people, and they asked gay and straight, and they looked at adverse childhood events such as child abuse and things like that. And 52% of the straight people had adverse childhood events, and 83% of the gays. So there's something there for sure. There's definitely something there about stress, you know, in childhood, early childhood. You know, there's something called epigenetics. I'm sure people know about. If you have certain events in your life, it can turn genes on or off. So if you have like traumatic situations early in life, it can make genes activate. Could be gay genes, could be violent genes, all these, you know, depression genes, all these different things. So my thing is, as a teacher, you know, I think we've made some good progress, because in the past, I think we need to be somewhat open. Like in the past, I would, like if somebody said like a gay slur, like, you know, the F word, that word that we use, that some people use for gay people.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hurtful for certain people. So I think I feel better that now we're able to have like open. If I hear that in my class, or if I hear somebody say something like that, I'll just call it out right then and there, and I'll be like, we don't do that here. We don't use any kind of derogatory terms, because, you know, people are different. I think in the past, you know, I'd probably get pushback from a parent or something like that. I'm not gay personally. You know, I've known plenty of gay people, and I know some of them have had really hard stories. And so I'm just against bullying. That's my thing. Any kind of bullying, and gays are number one. Hey, remember being a kid? Of the games we used to play, a lot of those games were very hostile towards gays. Same way black people have been treated. Like there's a similar named games. You know, there's similar games that have insert black name, insert gay name, and let's target that group. So, you know, I'm just saying, I don't know what the middle ground is, but the middle ground has to be, let's have some level of tolerance. I don't know what that level is.
Okay, good deal. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Trying to find the mute button.
Okay, what's on your heart, brother? You've been listening in with us for a minute. What's on your heart?
I mean, it's a very loaded conversation.
Let's talk.
You know, I bring up quite often how some of them are even born with what's called gender dysphoria. So, you know, and I've been having quite a few conversations on this topic as well. And to me, there's biological male, biological female, and then the psychology of the gender association. And that's what it is. Yeah, we have to be careful. And the more I've been having these conversations and stuff, you know, I've been thinking about all the shows and the things that I was introduced to when I was a kid, like the over-sexualization of women. You know, when I was in elementary school and stuff like that. And it's wild. You know, I remember asking my dad, having a conversation with him after watching some shows where the guy acted like a complete idiot over a sexy woman. I'm like, is that how guys are supposed to be? Are we really that dumb?
But Badger,
so
again, I'm gonna say this to you, brother, and with all due respect, but you are absolutely, and you being who you are, that's who you are. But you're so very pro woman that it almost sounds as though you're anti-man.
That's another topic for another day.
Is there any truth in that?
Not in the way you're trying to portray it.
No, I'm just asking you a question, brother. Are you pro woman? First, are you pro woman?
I am anti-evil male.
That's not answering my question, brother. I say, are you pro woman?
No, I'm pro woman and pro man.
I think simply he's anti-chauvinistic male, which I am too.
There you go. There you go. That's what I get from him.
I could not figure out the word.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Because if everybody remember, and Badger been on with us for a long time, I definitely appreciate him being here. But it's always a man this, a man that, and maybe that's what it is, chauvinistic or whatever. But at the same time, I've never heard him really say anything pro man. everything is pro woman, and
Oh, you should have heard me on the talk show with Shanavia, with Rico and the other two.
Brother, only thing I could go about was what I hear. I say I've never heard.
So I'll just throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Us men, unfortunately, we are dealing with a society that has created us to be emotionless, heartless, prideful, and egocentric.
And you can't say the same thing about women.
And weak.
I think Raheem.
Yes.
For
and
real,
weak.
he does
And
say, because when he talks about his mother and the experience, listen, you don't get no deeper coming against a woman than talking about your own mother and the negative things that she's done. So to me, he always talks human beings. That's what he always says. Human beings need to do this. Human beings need to do that. And yes, women have been mistreated. I'm proud of him personally, and I love how he stands up for women, because we don't have a lot of men, especially even in our community, that will stand up for us the way Badger does.
But that's beautiful. I'm not saying anything against that part of it, but what I am saying about it, you don't, if I'm going to talk bad about, I don't have to put one element down to talk good about it to lift another element up. Why can't I just across the board? There are some great men that has done some great things that speaks for women as well, but at the same time they don't talk down on men. You don't have to do one. You don't have to cut off your nose to spite your face, if you will.
Because a lot of times when we're talking about men, the topics that you're talking about is predominantly because of men.
See, that's what I'm saying. Everything is not a man fault. Everything is not a man. And see, that's my point right there. You just made my absolute. Hold on. No. Hold on, Badger. I'm gonna mute you, brother, because you're not listening. I say, hold on for a second. My thing is this right here. You just made my point. You just made my absolute point, because what you just said makes the point that I'm saying. Everything is man. But see, you can't do that, man. You can't paint with that brush all the time on every topic. You can't. It's not. It's very unfair. Rico, I'm gonna let him finish. I'm gonna come to you, Rico. Go ahead, Badger.
When you look at
statistics.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
They show that a lot of issues and certain biases that America has is predominantly male. This is science. This is them taking those polls and on a lot of other things. It's predominantly male.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, my own personal opinion is men and women have a lot of flaws due to toxic societal teachings that we are now in a process of having to undo on both sides.
Where did that toxic teaching come from?
The people that have pushed these narratives on us for a long time.
And who was that? And who was that?
Based on history, it's predominantly men.
Wow.
And it's historical fact.
Man.
That states that men run things. Women do not have say, women do not have power, and men are the one in charge.
Have you ever heard the term pillow talk? Have you ever heard the terminology pillow talk? Have you ever heard the terminology pillow talk?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what that terminology is.
Here we go.
Okay. Look up pillow talk. And,
Come on.
Go ahead, Rico. Go ahead, brother. It's good.
Hey, look, man.
It's good.
Hey, we sort of went off direction, man.
Yeah, we did.
But to me, this is like the prime example.
Yeah, I wanted to answer the question, the topics of today.
Hold on, Badger. We talked yesterday about that, brother. Don't do that.
This is the prime example of imbalance and the imbalance that's going on. And you know what? It's a man's world, and it's a white man's world, and it's a beta white man's world right now, because they can drop bombs and do things that women can't do, and they've done it throughout history, controlled and dictated what was and wasn't allowed. You know, so now what it is I think with the homosexual community, the LGBT, community, even with the race issues, the problem comes in is that to the point where we don't have certain people don't have compassion for these people that come from these conditions. I think gay people misconstrue the fact that we don't want them forcing certain behaviors onto children with bullying them and not accepting them for who they are, even though we do have compassion that they may be that way because of some things that they don't have, they didn't have influence on. They couldn't control that somebody took advantage of them, molested them, or treated them like dressed them up like a girl. They can't control that they were hermaphrodite. Once again, that's another topic. I think some of the talking points that gay people use or LGBT use are the only hermaphrodite should be able to have that confusion. Am I woman? Am I man? But somebody born a certain way. One thing about it, man, there's probably a small percentage that came out of curiosity that was unchecked because they had neglectful parents that didn't pay attention to that curiosity. And the reason why I say that is because I walked up on two little cousins kissing one time. Without supervision, this probably will continue to happen, and these children will probably grow up to have incest. I walked up on a little boy one time watching TV, was supposed to have been in the bathtub. One other time he was caught outside on the side of the road. Father wasn't paying attention, smoking weed. In the house counting money. Son out there with been weighing up weed on the scale. I mean, I done seen this.
Yeah.
Same little boy standing in front of a TV watching a video game with his finger in his booty hole.
What?
Just exploring. Curious. I knew that's where it came from. Maybe he was introduced to it, but I figured he was curious because for some reason babies like to put their fingers in holes. And guess what? That's how I found out how to have sex. I put two and two together. Finger in the hole, finger, stick hole, stick hole. That's where I always associated thing as the building blocks of being conscious. Stick in a hole. And then I saw Dirty magazines. That was my introduction. Somehow if a 4-year-old knows that they like little boys in a sexual manner, they have been introduced to sexual behavior because we are all creatures of learned behavior, regardless of how they learned it, whether they was molested or maybe they were just introduced by looking at it on TV and seeing two men kissing and thinking, hey, and not knowing that it's something wrong with it. Or maybe just playing and touching and tickling each other. Maybe he learned to tickle himself and he want to show his other friend, hey man, look how this feels, it's tickle. Now they tickling each other, don't even know they're doing gay games.
And see, that's the whole thing I was talking about when I said about the sponge. Whatever you submerge that sponge in, when you squeeze it, that's what's gonna come out. So what? See,
but that's introduction. It's still introduction, even though it might have been unconscious, unintentional, but it's all introduction. But some of these things won't happen with supervision, so it still will have to go back to the parent making the child such a priority that they're paying attention to them, even tickling themselves at an early age. That's why you stop a child. When I saw that little boy with his finger in his behind, I stopped him. Pop. I hit him like he was putting his finger in the club in the eye socket. He told his daddy, why you crying? Why you crying? Rico hit me. Why Rico? Why you pop my son, man? That's my son. Man, he had his finger in his booty hole, man.
Yeah.
Now, if he continued to do that, something might start feeling good. And if he continue to do that, then that might be something he want girls to do to him and other boys. Because a stick is a stick is a stick. As long as it's gonna feel good. See, we are human. We start from the basic necessity of feeling good, and then start finding other ways to try to make sure we could keep accomplishing feeling good. That's the reason why people get divorces. They have to spice up the sex life and all that stuff right there, because you have to go ahead and exceed that previous climax. So that's why I go back to the very beginning of the topic. We have let our children down because we have not gave them enough mental climaxes and priority and pride and recognition. We ain't made their brains explode enough to where when they get to be adults, or maybe they do get introduced to some I'm gonna say abnormal exposure to information and programming, we got to understand these influences are going to have an impact.
Exactly.
Whether it's intentional or unintentional. I think all homosexual behavior is introduced somehow, some way, whether bad or unintentional. It was still introduced.
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to have your input. We love to have your input. And if we have anybody, like I said earlier, if we have anybody that's a part of the LGBTQ community, give us a call. We want to hear from you as well. We don't want to speak for you. We want to talk to you. And so if you're out there and you're available and you want to have this conversation, this dialogue with us, please give us a call. 508-924-3521. Tucson, I see you, brother. But let me go to K with an E. K with an E, find that mute button. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, young lady. Now talk directly to that phone for me so we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little bit low. You're on your earpiece, ain't you?
Is that better?
That's a little bit better. But what's on your heart about what we're talking about today? Talk to me, sis.
I've just been listening. Rico said it all, like literally. Rico said it all. Like that's just put it right there. Like you can't even say it. Nothing else nobody can really say because, like he said, I don't believe that people are just born into this world like that. I just don't believe that. It can't be wrote in stone in the word. That's just something totally against the word. And for people to just be like that. So people are being introduced to this lifestyle. People are being told nowadays, because when we were kids, we didn't know nothing about no stuff like that. Like Rico said, smack that little kid upside his head. You ain't supposed to be doing that. Nowadays, you smack that little kid upside his head, you might have to deal with the parent.
Yeah.
Because they know the kid is like that. They in the stores shopping for their daughters. Oh, she wants to wear this. I will not take a 13-year-old to the store and dress her like a boy.
Yeah.
I will not take my grandson to the store and dress him like a girl.
No.
They're
Ain't gonna
going
happen.
along with it.
Ain't gonna
It's
happen.
okay now.
Wow.
But what do? It's just crazy. It don't make sense. They go out and have babies and they go get with the other girl, and now these two women is raising these kids. What are the kids going to come up to be? They just been raised by two women or two men. They being raised thinking it's okay. It's too much going on.
Wow. Tucson, talk to me, brother. I don't know who I said I was gonna come to next. I said somebody, but I can't remember, man. You know, my mind is going all the different directions. So Tucson, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. I am really.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned. Because maybe I'm off some, but I'm starting to think I'm a bad person. I really think I think I got it all wrong. I think that when I look at the direction of the way that mankind should go and the direction that mankind is going, I think I got it all wrong based on some of the conversation that we having today.
Wow.
Because there is no hope to redirect our kids because our kids are at stake. Their lifestyle is at stake.
Yeah.
Because there is a agenda. I don't know if I'm concerned about the way that I think. That because I'm supposed to walk around like this, there's a certain thing. I guess I need to weaken up. I shouldn't be so manly.
Is that a bad thing?
I think that based on some of the conversation that I've heard today, that it seems like it's a bad thing for me to just be a man. To stand up. To say how I feel it without the way I feel it, without checking with my wife.
Wow.
For asking permission. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Because here it is. I'm going to raise my sons not to be boys, but men. And I don't care who they love, but I would be concerned if one of them brought Johnny home.
Yeah.
I would be concerned.
Who the hell? Who?
And it was just said just now. Okay, now I see that their demeanor has changed and their mindset have changed. Okay, just suppose if I had a 5-year-old that had some, to me, it would be an issue. To me, just to me, something has happened. All of a sudden, he's putting on makeup. I would be concerned.
Yeah.
Rather than going to the store and getting him some makeup of his choice. I'm concerned because they asked my son.
Yeah.
When he had 2 boys and a girl, for him to have the desire to want them to make the choice of whether they're going to be a boy and a girl. There's a gender.
Yeah.
That as there's something going on, I can't just say, well, it's these masculine men that are the blame before, oh, come on, man. Come on now. I mean, it's just, I'm gonna have to go back, and I'm gonna have to start from Genesis, and I'm gonna get my Quran, and I'm gonna get I'm gonna go to Revelation, and I'm gonna get all biblical truths and spirituality, and I'm gonna have to absorb it all back together, and I'm gonna have to try to figure out this God thing and how he looks at mankind. And when we try to please him rather than please each other, because this flesh is something else.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The more I entertain this flesh, the more the flesh want to be entertained.
Yeah.
I'm talking about really. You think that if I start entertaining myself with porn and immoral acts, you think that sooner or later I don't start liking those things?
Yeah.
Just because I carry a Bible in my hand, you think that anybody cares about that? So I'm gonna have to recheck this thing out, because it's the man's fault. Come on. I mean, everybody got to make their own choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you're a man or a woman, a boy, a girl, or whatever gender you want to choose for yourself. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm kind of trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong.
That's good.
Something's right and something's wrong, but it can't be both.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's that fence in the middle that a lot of people want to hover on. They want to try to balance on that fence in the middle, and that's not what we need to do. Anyway, let me go to Toya with a T. Toya, talk to me, sis. Toya, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Come on, sis. I know you got something for me.
I mean, I'm getting ready for work, so I'm in and out. But I know we're speaking truth on here, right? If we're still talking about kids and the decisions and choices that we make, I feel like we're missing that. It's the source for all of this stuff. It's spirits behind all this stuff, and we don't understand it. My father used to keep me in the house. He'd say, "Hey, they're not married. You're not going over there. Hey, they do this, that, and the third over there. No, you're not either. Nope. Oh, you think you're finna go over to this place? Because there are spirits that lurk in this world, and we keep forgetting that there's a God. And much as we might want to deny it, there is a God of evil. We call him a devil. And these things, these spirits, these demonic spirits and things that, have we ever put the conclusion that you kill your bloodline with certain choices and decisions that we make? Cassandra said it all day. It's biblical. So first of all, we're not going to stop it. But let's just think about the fact that you're killing your bloodline. This is an allowance. God allows things. And sometimes we have to be forgiven for we know not what we do.
Come on.
But maybe some of us need to be wiped out. And it's going to be by the very child of your loins that is going to eliminate your family bloodline. So you don't believe. Oh, you don't believe in me? Oh, you think it's all right to be gay? Okay. Boop. I bet you won't have no more flukers. Like, again, we need to be forgiven because we know not what we do, because we are talking about a specific group of people that want to be gods, We want to be gods too. And this is what we do with our powers. This is what we do with the gods we give birth to. The nations we raise. The men run off, don't stick around. The women fight for their lives with them. And sometimes we completely create chaos because we're out of order. But I still think that every time I hear a valid point that come out of everybody's mouth, we forget about the spirits that drive these energies. We forget to teach our children about these spirits. That's what I was saying earlier, right? My father, I know he went in the corner and prayed someplace because I didn't want to wear no dresses and skirts. I wanted to be like my daddy. I wanted to be strong like him. I would play football. I want to do that. And I know he went in somewhere and prayed. But you know what else he did? He remembered, hey, listen here, lady. You a girl. Now listen, I can't teach you how to be a woman, but I can teach you how to be a woman for a man. I can teach you what a man wants. I can teach you everything I know. But I need you to know that you're a woman. And that was a constant reminder, no matter what sport. If it was a sport made for men, he was going to break it down. Hey, listen, women don't play certain sports. Don't lift certain things because you can hurt yourself. You want to have kids, you need to think about this. Like he told me who I was.
Yeah.
And I feel like we failed to get that. He told me who I was in God. I think we failed to arm our children with that because most of us don't believe. Most of us, like Cap said yesterday, we have an imbalance. We don't know who we are, where we come from. We don't even believe in the sources on where some of these things come from. So how can we prepare our kids to be able to fight against them?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just feel like this at the end of the day, y'all, this is life, right? This is going on before televisions. Like Caesar had his issues. Cleopatra was a bad chick. We know chicks be in guys' ears to do terrible things. We know guys will do terrible things. Humans can be wicked. But at the end of the day, this is an allowance from God. So the only thing we can do, right, is make sure we do our best to make sure that ours are educated and know how to maintain. And if you see a knucklehead by a collar, grab him by the toe. That's what I say.
Grab him by the toe. Good
grab
deal.
Him by the toe.
Exactly. I'm gonna read what Paul said. Paul, he actually left. If you can call back in, Paul, call back in as well. But he said people are going to vote for Trump because of this gay controversy, and that is the greatest threat of this issue. I don't know exactly what he mean by that, but Ryan, are you there? Ryan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What do you think about Public Citizen's comment?
Can you repeat it for me? Because I can't see on my phone.
Okay. It says that people are going to vote for Trump because of this gay controversy, and that is the greatest threat. That is the greatest threat of this issue.
Wait, so people vote for Trump because they don't like gays? Is that the roundabout?
I can only read what he said. Hopefully he'll call back in and expound on what he mean by that. But what he said was people are going to vote for Trump because of this gay controversy, and that
I see.
And that is the greatest threat of this issue.
Okay, so number one, Trump is not a threat in any shape or form, and it's not the gay controversy that's going to put him back in office if he even makes it that far, with every Tom, Dick, and Harry throwing lawsuits at him. It's not the gay controversy that's going to do it. It's making him a martyr that's going to put him back in office. Because that's what they're doing. This man brought jobs up, put money back in people's pockets, did all the things that he was asked to do, which is against what they're doing right now. So we got to make a stop at all costs. We can't have him come back in and bring jobs back up. Can't be doing those things. You know, it's crazy. Like there's way too much to even dissect on this show. Both sides are evil, and I can tell you that. You know, I said it before, I'll say it again. Political parties will be the destruction of this nation. and trying to point a controversy at a political figure and say that that's going to be the reason he gets reelected. That's taking a large portion of this nation and lumping them into a box, just like saying all white people are racist.
Okay.
Like, you can't do that. Like, that one has nothing to do with the other. People who don't support this agenda are normal human beings. Has nothing to do with Donald Trump. We don't want our kids subjected to this. That's what it boils down to. Rico and I talked about this last night, and I'll say it again. You want to find common ground between black folks and white folks, yellow folks, whatever color folks, purple, pink, polka dot, start messing with our kids and watch what happens.
That's good. That's good.
That's common ground right there, because I know black people care about their children. I know white folks care about their children. We talk about it all the time. Mess my kids, see what's going to happen to you. They keep messing with these kids, you're going to see a united front, and it's going to be ugly.
Good deal. Good deal. Willow!
Can I go after Willow,
Right
please?
here, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Willow.
Yeah, I was thinking about Ryan, what Ryan was saying. And yeah, we talked about it yesterday with the innocence of our children. And that is so true. We're trying to protect their innocence, Raheem, because of the fact that, I mean, Toya's hit the nail right on the head. This is a spiritual world. You got to wonder, where did all those evil spirits go? And because we are in those perilous times, he's trying to do much damage as he can to the very thing that God loves, and that's us. He loves us, right? He loves all of us, but he hates our sin. And that's what we need to get. We need to understand that God loves us, but he hates our sin. And he's given us proper tools. You know, it's like when you have a son and he becomes a mechanic, you give him the tools that he needs in order to be successful. Now, whether he used those tools or not, that's his choice. God has given us those tools. And whether we use those tools or not, we got that free will to make the choice. We don't have to stay in the mess that we're in. We don't. But we make the choice when we choose to stand on our desires, our wants. And then we don't only think about that it's a temporary desire. Those are temporary wants. Because there's going to be a time when you're going to need that eternal, and you won't have it. You won't have it because you was too stubborn, filled with pride. You resisted, and you didn't do what the one who made you told you to do. You did what you wanted to do. So just like that prodigal son, when you did what you wanted to, you lost everything you were supposed to get. Now what you got, you came right back home. But see, that's going to be the difference between now and then when it comes to you seeing your heavenly Father. Now, there's nothing you could get back because you made the choice while you was living in that housing that he gave you. It all comes down to how you want to, how the quality of your life is going to be because of what you choose to look at. Like Tucson says, if you keep looking at it, then it becomes your king, your queen. It becomes what's keeping you where you are. But if you want to change something, you got to change the direction that you're going in. When you know it's not right, you got to now start doing what you need to do right, even though you're going to struggle. Because there are going to be times when you struggle. There are going to be times when there's temptation out there that's thrown at you about the enemy because you want to keep you right where you are. But you got to fight and you got to press. And you're going to say, no, not today. Not today, devil. You're not going to do it to me. I'll keep pressing. That man, he might have looked good, but I'm turning my eye. That woman, but I'm turning my eye. That thief, I'm not going to steal. That kleptomaniac, that liar, that fornicator. It all lines up with the same thing God has told us. and he has pre-warned us. He pre-warned you. When you know something ahead of time, he's preparing you for what he already sees.
Yes.
And that's what's on my heart right here.
Good deal. Good deal. Now, sometimes you gotta destroy from the what? You gotta go to the what? To what? To the what? What?
Root. You gotta go to the root. You gotta kill the root right here. You gotta kill the root.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. Zamari, talk to me, sis. You gotta go to the root.
I don't even know anymore. I don't know. Like this is one of those subjects people say certain things and just rubs you wrong because it's just like, you know.
Now, sis, let's be specific. What rub you wrong? Let's talk about it.
Well, what Paul said, for instance, right there. Okay, seriously, people are going to vote for Trump because of the gay controversy, and that's the greatest threat of this issue. That's the greatest threat. Not the fact that they're perversing children's minds. Trump is not the threat here. Let's not get that twisted. You know, that's the problem. But people want to put everything onto this man. You can't hate him, love him, I don't care. But to say that that is the greatest threat of this issue is incorrect. And it's putting the blame in the wrong direction, on the wrong person. When you have that stuff faced or put in your face constantly on television, when my children can't even watch cartoons without it being embedded into the cartoon, one little flash, one commercial with all of these happy families, and then you got the one gay couple. That's the threat. You're threatening the innocence of my child. So let's not get that twisted.
Good deal. Now, so I want to give you another maybe minute. I want you to tell us exactly how you feel.
I might have to start speaking in tongues.
Oh Lord. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Now, I mean, I think that's what it boils down to, man. You know what's really disappointing to me? Man, first off, Willa, I told you to ask Willa a question and she ended up answering it. When, you know, she spoke on temptations and carnal desires. And I know that's what Badger wants to go with this, because I get it. Man's weakness for carnal desires and temptations has allowed a lot of things. Now this is what has happened. This is deeper than politics.
Yeah.
But somebody isn't paying attention to the agenda to create. I mean, listen to what has happened. You have people that have taken violations that created a sexual behavior and turned it into a culture and a lifestyle and a way of life. Now you want to make something that arrived 9 times out of 10 from something that was dysfunctional and bad into something that just, hey, give this a try. Yeah, you might be 4 years old and you probably shouldn't even know anything about sexual behavior, period. You shouldn't even see animals getting it on. But if you like boys, let's give it a shot. You know, I was laughing earlier, but I didn't mean to laugh. But I was in the park walking one day and I saw this woman get out, man, and she had her son and her daughter in little sundresses and sandals with little purses. And I kept looking. I said, wait a minute, maybe that's a little girl with a boy haircut. And I kept on looking. I realized this grown woman had her 4-year-old boy. He couldn't have been no more than 4 years old, walking around with a purse and a dress and some little sandals with his toes painted. Something ain't right with that. That boy ain't even supposed to be, He's supposed to have other options. He's supposed to have other introductions right now. Right now, that little sponge there's a whole lot of things that can influence him between now and 16 that can take him out of that little mold of wanting to wear a dress. But right now, I can already tell you, he's gonna be a cheerleader when he turned to be a senior. He probably gonna have the most supportive mom. I don't know where his father was. But see, what Paul is saying is true. You do have some people that's going to make this a political issue because that was the agenda. They intentionally made this a political issue. But it's bigger than politics. This is about our spirit, man. This is about the future. This is about reproduction. This is about, man, logic.
Yeah.
And this is about somebody making this an opportunity to create this trend and let it continue to grow and be an issue that can be monopolized to the point where people even start talking about tourism. Now let's go and bother Nigeria about this, because your tourism might slow down because they don't feel comfortable coming over there.
I see you, Ryan.
So it's sad that it will be an issue, but then at the same time, now it is an issue that has to be addressed, because everybody's getting tired of turning on television programs and having to address sexuality when it ain't even an issue, or it shouldn't be involved in that program.
What do you do? What do you do? I'm gonna throw this out there, and Ryan, I'm coming to you. I got a few other people I'm gonna touch before I come, because I came to you a few minutes ago. So give me a minute or two. But my thing is this, right? What do you do? And Rico, I'm gonna throw this at you. Give me a quick answer, because, like I said, I want to keep this thing moving as speedily as I can, because we're getting close to the top of the hour. We're gonna go a little bit over today anyway. But what do you do, Rico, when you're looking at TV? You're sitting there, your family sitting there looking at TV. You there, wife there, kids on the floor looking at TV. Y'all looking at a Disney movie, and then all of a sudden, a commercial come on, where the commercial they talked about earlier, where the men are hugging and the two men, they stand there and they kiss, and your kids turn around and look at you. Why them two men kissing, Daddy? Why them two?
Man, listen, my children gonna probably grow up and say I abused them because I didn't let them watch TV no more. We fixing to find a whole lot of outdoor activities, or we're gonna be watching some documentaries about something that was real life that ain't got nothing to do with no sex.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. We are being over sexualized. We are being bombarded with sexualization and everything. That's why I was even concerned in the past, before this homosexual thing became a problem.
Yeah.
They've been running it in the ground, man. We living in a hypersex society, and it's profitable.
Yeah. Wow. I want to go to Paul, because Paul put that comment up there. I want to give him a chance to speak on what was said to his comment. So, Paul, what's on your heart? Badger, coming to you next.
Okay. Yeah, I think Rico, what your point there is really probably one of the most important things about this, is that it's not the media's responsibility to raise your child. So if you're going to go, oh well, it's out of my control, I have no control, Paul, the world's going to hell.
Paul, I want you to speak. I want you to speak on that part about the post that you put about people are going to make this a political thing.
I'll get there.
Okay,
I'll get there.
We ain't got a lot of time, Paul.
So okay, I know. So if I was watching that show and my child asked about that, I'd be like, well, some people are different. I think I would be honest and say that, being a homosexual person is not easy in this world. And we should have empathy for people who, have that lifestyle. I would keep it, at that level, so that they know that, I'm not really encouraging them to go that direction, but I'm also not going to hate them if, it turns out that they turned out gay or whatever. But yeah, in terms of the politics thing, I mean, why do you think it's all right-wing media that's talking about this issue? Because they know it gets the votes. It gets voters to the polls. So Trump was dog doo-doo, okay? I mean, I can go point by point. If you want to go over it with me, Ryan, I'll be happy to do it with you. I've been talking politics for decades now. So, yeah, he's terrible. He's a very terrible person. He's bad for our country. And I do not want us to go back there.
Okay. Badger?
Thank you, Paul.
Now, see, Cassandra, now, what?
No, you ain't called on me for a minute, so I'm just sticking mine in there where I can.
Well, Cassandra, let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart?
See, I'm not the only one.
Oh Lord, see how you gave them fuel. See, you gave them fuel. See. Me and Badger had a conversation yesterday. Go ahead.
Well, I was sitting here and I was thinking about all the stuff that's on our main media, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Iowa. They are pushing for man, I cannot pronounce words this morning.
Legislature.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To go after the police officers that were stopping the insurrectionists.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court right now is looking. There was a suit that was brought up about if anyone knows anything about Native American stuff. In 1973, the Indian Child Welfare Act was put into place to protect the Native American children from being taken from their homes by the American government. Well, there was a suit brought up saying that it wasn't constitutional to implement that law, and they're talking and discussing about overturning it, which would make it legal to once again take the children out of the Native American home, which would destroy the culture even more. So there's all these other things that are happening behind closed doors, which are predominantly being done by Republicans. That is why there's such a huge fight against red and blue. So we have the blue side pushing certain narratives a lot of people don't agree with, and then we have the red side doing all their nasty stuff. And to me, I don't understand when it comes to these kinds of things, because I brought up when talking about the gay stuff, is there's a lot of people that are born with different mental disabilities and experience different things and react in different ways. So if people are born with Down syndrome and all this other stuff, it's also possible for them to be born with gender dysphoria. And as far as the men and women stuff go, I'm not talking about the average man. I am talking about the evil men that have been in power saying that women have no rights.
Okay.
Or black people are evil, and so on and so on. Those are the ones I can't stand.
Okay, but my thing is, you also have to say that, and me, I can't tell you what to say, but for me, I would also point out the evil women that has done certain things. I like to deal with, and I say it all the time, I deal with both sides of the coin. I'm not gonna just point to one.
If you can provide me,
I shouldn't have to.
Women
I shouldn't have to,
have
brother.
that much power,
Badger,
to be able to control an entire narrative.
Badger,
I would agree with
Badger,
you.
you say this all the time. You say how you are. You do research. You do research all the time. That's what you say you do, research. And so now the one that says they do all the research, why do I have to provide anything for you, brother? Look it up. It ain't gonna be. It's not gonna be hard to find. So you saying to me that you can't find any women that has done evil things throughout the history of time. Is that what you're saying to me? Then you're not doing your research, brother. But let's keep this thing going. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother?
I was just gonna say something quick, piggybacking off Rico. A lot of the backlash on these things is out of fear as well. Fear of being mislabeled, or fear of being labeled as this because you don't agree with something. You get called a homophobe because you don't agree with the lifestyle. I ain't scared of gay people. They don't make me afraid. I just don't agree with their lifestyle. That doesn't make me a phobe. There's all this, again, I brought it up yesterday, labels. You're labeling everything, and these labels are causing fear, they're causing discomfort, and they're causing anger and hatred. You can't just slap a label on something and call it good. I can't just take a label off a bottle of water and slap it on some Clorox and everything go be hunky-dory. You drink it, you're gonna die. It's crazy to think about all of these things, and to Paul, you can give me all the bullet points you want to, brother, but I can find research that will say the other thing. That's the wonderful thing about research, is you can always find something to fit what you want. There's always someone paid to say something that tickles your fancy. I can do the same thing. The common ground here is we just got to be people and be humans and stop trying to target each other and slap a label on each other.
Good deal. Toussaint, talk to me, brother. Toussaint, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. No, yeah, I was just I'm
you
hold
okay,
on
Toussaint? You okay?
Yeah, I'm you go ahead, Raheem, because I was on the phone.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
Gotcha. Okay, good deal. Cassandra, boy, she got something welling up in her over there. Cassandra, where you at? Oh, we just lost Cassandra. Oh man, I knew she had something welling up in her too.
Well, give me an opportunity to come back, Raheem.
Go ahead.
I was on the phone.
Go ahead.
And I'll be multitasked. I got a lot going on. I have a life. Life hits you in the face.
Come on now.
Yeah. And the important thing is that we have people that are coming behind us. Children. Like Toya said, our seed in this world, in this society, that
in this world there's much confusion. I see the city life,
or painting a picture, and they're looking at it in amazement, trying to figure out how they fit in. And what we have to do is counter some of the things that we know is either right or wrong. I'm not going to make a decision for nobody. Whether they man, boy, good, straight, whatever. But for me and mine,
come on,
we've made a decision on how we are going to implement a standard of living for our children. And I can't fail in that. And I can't say, well, I'm a dumb down, or I'm a weaken up, or Johnny, you're so supposed to get in tune with your feminine side. Boy, I wish you would. I wish you would. I wish my son would.
Lord.
And I'm just saying, that's just the passion.
Yes, sir.
Stand up like a man.
Yeah.
And raise your daughter to be a girl.
Yeah.
You help your wife raise your children to be productive in the society. And you do what's right.
That's good. Kay, would eat anything on your heart? Kay would eat.
Just listening. I'm just listening, and everything everybody's saying is on point, and but it's like really in this day and time, like for real, in reality, like this is just keeping it 100. What can we really do about it?
Wow.
Because it's nothing we can do about it. It's grown people doing it. It's children doing it. It's pastors doing it. You think it ain't none in the White House? They everywhere. There's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is pray that one of ours, close to us, that we do have some control over, that we think we can influence, don't do it.
Wow. That's good. Zamari?
Yeah.
What's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
He wants to look up a woman who created and wrote a whole agenda. Go look at Margaret Sanger. That is an evil woman right there. And that's all I got to say.
Rico?
She's telling the truth. And y'all know I like to hold all sides accountable. And one thing about that woman that came up with that agenda, she couldn't have implemented it or made it work without a machine behind her, a government, a system, a group of powerful white males and corporations that helped her create this medicine. See, it's one thing to have the idea. Anybody can have an idea, but getting that support to push your agenda is a whole nother monster. Now, that's when you got to start pointing the other finger, because without that monster that supported her idea to stop Black populations, to control populations. Without support from somebody that had the power to help her get her idea across, it wouldn't have been able to happen. So let's hold everybody accountable. Sometimes we don't have to use a but we can say an and. Because there's a right side of the wing and there's a left side of the wing. And for the money, both sides will work together. Both sides will work together.
For the money. Wow. Wow. What up?
Raheem, this is not so much a government issue. This is a God issue. So when we realize that we still, regardless what the enemy tries to show us, we still have hope. There's nothing in this world that's more powerful than God. He can change anything. If he wanted, he could call 1 legion of angels and he'll destroy this world. Do you think that he's going to allow that enemy to get the power that he was trying to get when he was in heaven down here? The devil is a lie. There's nothing more powerful than the God that I serve. And he can change anything when he wants to. For whatever reason, his plan is the way it is. I don't know right now, but I do know that he is a part of this plan.
Absolutely.
So that's what's on my heart, Raheem. It's on my heart.
Good deal. Good deal. Man, listen, man, we about to get out of here for today. This has been a great broadcast. We covered a lot today. We actually covered a whole lot today, man. And it was good. Everybody, brought their own personal opinion as to how they feel. And that's what we do. Do we always agree? Absolutely not. Are we going to ever agree? If we do, we're going to stop doing the broadcast. If there's a broadcast where we consistently start to agree on everything, man, we don't need to do it. We don't need to do it no more. Everybody got their own opinions. And that's what makes it so, I think that's what makes it so unique. And that's what makes it so beautiful, because everybody have an opportunity to say exactly what they feel, what they think. And it's like a gumbo. It's like a gumbo. When you put it all together, it tastes pretty good. It tastes pretty good. A gumbo good. I like a good gumbo. Tucson, I don't know about no gumbo because he down there in wherever we at. Opelousas, what name of the city you in, Tucson?
Opelousas.
Yeah.
Opelousas.
By way of what?
The damn capital of the world.
Okay, by way of what though? Opelousas by way of what?
No, I'm in Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Pascagoula.
But I'm born and raised in Opelousas, Louisiana.
Boy, that's every last.
Hey, Donald. I'm gonna tell you, man, Raheem be trying to be slick dissing your man. But that's the reason why he be having all that internet connection problem. Raheem live off in the. If you go to Raheem's house, he look like he live in Kansas, like his Wizard of Oz out there. Man, I ain't lying. I ain't have no internet service out there, and I got Verizon.
There's no place like home. Kicking your feet together.
We way out there in the middle of the woods. I'm telling you, I was scared, man.
You and Toto.
Look at here, man. Rico, some secrets you want to keep to yourself, brother. Some secrets you keep to yourself now.
Yeah, they're like a city boy.
I'm in Atlanta. Man. What you talking about? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's why people from Louisiana say I live in New Orleans. You a lie.
Exactly. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother?
No, I would just answer my wife's question to what we was talking about in chat.
Oh, okay.
We go and her was talking about Margaret Sanger, and I said, and guess who proudly accepted the Margaret Sanger Award? Rick Clinton. Got the bust of her in her office. But she worked directly with Adolf Hitler. Margaret Sanger.
Wow.
Crazy stuff.
Wow.
Anyway,
these are the secrets.
Each and every one of
y'all. Exactly. Likewise, brother. And these are the secrets right here, man, that people don't want to know. People don't want you to know some part of people's history. They don't want you to know. That's why they're trying to block that Freaknik documentary that's coming out. They don't want you to know. Some parts of their history, they don't want you to know. No, that wasn't me. Freaknik, what is that? What does this look like you right here? Is this you?
That's you right there twerking, ain't it?
Yes, exactly. Ain't that you? Oh, look at Aunt Minnie, is that you? Aunt Minnie, you all see, some things people don't want you to know. Some things they just want to keep a secret. It's buried. They want to keep it buried and don't want nobody to go try to dig it up. but we all have a history. We all have a history. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
See, I can tell when we have a real good broadcast because Rico will say entirety. When we have a real good broadcast, he'll say entirety. He'll say, oh man, this week I got to see entirety today. This was a good one. But, well,
Raheem.
Willa,
let's go.
Are you ready, Willa?
Raheem.
Yes.
I am so ready to receive God's word. Come on, Raheem, let's go.
I'm not gonna get in your way. Only thing I got to say right now, Willa, is let's go.
Amen. Father God in heaven, Lord, I'm asking you, Lord, to decrease Willa and allow the Holy Spirit to go forth, Lord. Father, I'm asking you, oh Lord, to give me the direction and the guidance, Lord. But if there's been anything that I've done, that I've said, that I thought, that has been displeasing to you in your eyesight, Father, I'm asking for your forgiveness in the name of Jesus, Lord. Father, as I approach your throne with confidence, boldness, and expectation, I'm asking you, oh Lord, to strengthen each and every last one of us that's on this line, that in spite of what the enemy is trying to show us, we know that he is the father of liars. And Father, we know that you got the power to do anything in this world. Without you, Lord, we can do absolutely nothing. Father, we trust you, Lord, as we look at what you created every day, Lord, as you allow us to get up every day, Lord, giving us an opportunity to get it right with you. Father, I'm praying, Lord. I'm praying and asking, Lord, that you show yourself up in the hearts of men, Lord. Help us to be the representatives of you, Lord, that light that you said that we should be in this evil and wicked world. We love you, Lord. We praise you. We honor you. We glorify you in all things, Lord. I'm asking you, Lord, to touch each and every last one that's on this line. Whatever their heart desire is, Lord, Father, you know, because you see the hearts of men. Father, I love you. I honor you. Thank you for the morning glow. Continually to be successful, delivering your message, Lord. Thank you for Raheem and his family, Lord. Father, we honor you, we glorify you, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen, amen, amen. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead. Tucson. Can I say Tucson?
Is the right thing to say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
I know we got to go, man. I sort of feel uneasy about how that sort of went down with Badger and how that conversation went. You know, I think it's sort of misunderstood what he meant by men and the power that women have, and you know what they're saying about Margaret Sanger.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's trying to say is that, you know, there are groups of powerful men and power, you know, that have they control conditions of of countries and planets. I don't think you can find a woman that could pull a switch and drop atomic bombs. You know, even if she did get in a position of power to be able to do it, just like they said with Trump, you have other powerful men that dictate that he won't be able to do that. They have things in place to sort of thwart him being able to do something so foolish if he would decide to do that. So I don't want us to misconstrue what Badger was trying to say today, because I agree sometimes it does seem like he's a little more leaning in favor of women. Sometimes it does seem like this, but I think today the point he was making is the same point was Willa was making in that prayer. The desire of man. We live in a world that is definitely influenced by a lot of toxic men that have us in a condition that allow even a woman like Margaret Sanger to have her ideas to come to fruition. A lot of powerful men that dictate and control the conditions of how we live and function in this world, the things we're complaining about, the things our children are exposed to. So, you know, we got to understand that it is man controlling this thing, some powerful evil men that we speak of, and they come from a very, very evil spiritual place.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, Rico, and I can definitely appreciate that. But let me ask you this question: have you ever done anything or known somebody, man, that has done something that they in the forefront doing it, but it was a woman that was pushing the buttons to make them
influence? She was an influence, but he still had to flex his muscle.
Mm-hmm. But see, and that's why right there I say, and I understand what you're saying. I'm not combating what you're saying, but at the same time, I know that there's a lot of things that goes on. There's a lot of elements that goes into sometimes the decisions that quote unquote man make. Sometimes it's a woman that's behind him to say, look here, you if you don't blase, then you know, and women have certain truth of the matter, have a huge influence on a lot of decisions that men make. And so, yes, he may be the one that's and sometimes it's women that's in power as well. There's some women that's in power as well. But my thing is, I like to deal with both sides of the coin. And I'm not going to say that brother's wrong because that's his opinion. And I respect every opinion that everybody have on here. So I'm not going to say that he's wrong. I just like to deal with both sides of the coin. And I like to know and understand, or like my audience to know and understand that sometimes, you know, it may be the man that's pushing the button, but it's the woman that pushed him into that position where he pushed that button. And so we can't just put all the emphasis on him and not look at her. And so, you know, it goes both ways, man. This is Zamari, what's on your heart, sis? You being a woman, what's on your heart?
Just like what I put in the chat, is the women pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things in history that you can find where the woman is pulling those strings.
No doubt.
And doing these things and then using the man as the puppet.
Yeah.
And getting that pushed through. But she is really the one in power.
Yeah.
She's just using him in the forefront.
He's just a face.
Through history, if let's go back 1,000 years. Okay, let's just go back 1,000 years. There are women in history who behind the scenes were getting things done, but because they weren't the ones that someone was going to listen to, they used that man.
Mm-hmm.
That is, you can find that in history.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't think anybody denying that. I don't think anybody denying that, but she needed that man to flex that muscle for it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Herod's wife. Like Tucson just said, Herod's wife.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, it's you got a weak man in the front, and then you got the woman in the back.
Yeah.
And she's the one doing all that work. She's just using him as the mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so, and that's my point. And like I say again, not saying that the brother is wrong because that's his opinion and he feel the way that he feel. But my thing is, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss it and say that, you know, he well, hold on. She played a part too. She played a part.
That's my girl, y'all. That's my girl.
Samson, what's your secret?
Yeah.
Samson, what's your secret?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And so that's my whole point. And so, like I say, everybody got their opinion, man. And like I say, I'm not here to give anybody their opinion. I open the door for everybody to have their own opinion and to voice it. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't. And so, you know, but the conversation is good. The communication, the conversation is good. And that's what I appreciate more than anything else. Rico, anything else on your heart, brother?
I really think that was the key word, weak man.
Yeah.
Because a strong man would say, you know what? I am not fixing to use my power and my force to destroy. Go on with that idea. Exactly. So it still took that man. That's where Badger's coming from, that weak man.
And to your point, even with Job, when his wife came to us and said, curse God and go on about your business, curse him. He looked at and said, woman, you speaking as a fool. I'm not going, God give it and God take it away. I'm not going to speak. So I understand. I'm not, I don't want this broadcast to end with people thinking that I don't understand what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying, but at the same time, I also like to look at both sides of the coin. People say, well, Raheem, what are you, Democratic, Republican, blah, blah, blah. I'm independent. I'm right down the middle, and that's the way I deal with it. I'm independent. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. Everybody got their own opinion. The Republicans feel the way they feel. Democrats feel the way they feel. They have a hard time coming and meeting in the middle because both sides are so strong with their opinions. and their views. We have to get to a point where we could come together, meet in the middle. And I used to say this all the time to my wife. I don't have to agree. I don't have to agree with the decisions that we make all the time. I don't have to agree, long as it makes sense to me. Long as it makes sense. I'm not certain things. If I don't agree and it don't make sense, oh, we ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. No, we're not gonna do that. That's just what it is. We're not gonna do it. But if even if I don't agree and it makes sense, let's try it. At least it makes sense. So let's try it. Anyway, with that being said, anybody got anything before we get out of here?
I love y'all, man. I love y'all.
I have a lot, but have a blessed day, everybody.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, y'all are something else. Anyway, it's been a great broadcast. What time is it now? 10:28. Wow, 10:28. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:28. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it. And I'm sure that you will as well. Have a great day. Love you all. Talk to you in the morning. God says the same.